but that's okay. Hello, everybody. It's I Am Serious. I'm here today with, as usual, Nick, my friend Nick, and special guest, my sibling, Yosis.
I'm here today
Hello.
with.
Oh, turn off the broadcast if you got it. It might be me.
All right, we're good. It was me.
Okay. All right. Okay, the broadcast is up. All right. So, thank you for tuning in, everybody. It looks like we got a few viewers now. This is MGTOW Chats, episode 11, Misogyny and Seamen. And we're going to get a lot of it in our faces. Now, disregard the avatar of my brother. That's just some weird kid with a baseball glove. And we've got Eosis and Nick with me today. Before we begin, I know exactly where I want to begin. Eosis, you want to just introduce yourself? Don't be too personal.
Hey, man. My name's Eosis. What else do I need to say? I live in Victoria, BC, and hello, everybody. Woo!
Okay, good, great, good for you. He's also my sibling, so he shares a large portion of my DNA, for better or for worse. Now, what I wanted to get going on from the beginning as we start this, obviously, I wanted to talk a bit about what I mentioned in the last conversation Nick and I had. And this has a little bit to do, and this has been coming up actually in regards to Star Wars, everybody. And everybody knows what Star Wars is, and everybody knows what we talked about and what people have been talking about with Star Wars, The Last Jedi, and how it's become sort of a pariah and a sign of the end times for Lucas's franchise and dream. And basically, one thing that I mentioned while we were talking about that, and I'll quote what I was mentioning before in our chat, was that you cannot measure the success of goods or services through individual consumer sales alone. I'll say that again. You cannot measure the success of goods and services through individual consumer sales alone. And of course, this is a big thing when it comes down to Star Wars and trying to measure the success of something that is basically a multi-billion-dollar industry based on characters and stories. What we're talking about is a good and a service. It's entertainment. Now, on those same lines, I want to say that we're talking about the free market of capitalism. And out of that lesson of goods and services, and to measure the success of goods and services, we have to understand that what you buy off the shelf as an individual, you pull off the shelf and you open it and you consume it, whether it be something you eat, you feed through your mouth, you take through your ears, through your eyes, whatever, something you consume, whether it be a service, maybe it's a massage, maybe it's a wank, all of those goods and services, all of them cannot be measured, and their success cannot be measured through the individual that's paying for that good or service on that level. Okay? It has to be understood through the level of the producer, distributor, and the retail distributor.
Mm-hmm.
All right? This is what I want to get at. Now, when
Right,
it
but
comes,
it's heavily manipulated.
well, each level is manipulated. But I wanted to say that when it comes, these three levels of the producer. Go ahead.
You're saying if I go and get a rub and tug,
Mhm.
and it's like really good, it's not successful as far as I can see. Like, I don't get it.
What I'm saying is you're the tail end of the consumer, of the capitalist free
You're the
market
finished
system.
product.
You're the finished product. You're
Right.
the one getting the rug and tub. But before you receive that rug and tub, you have to understand there's the person that puts the place, the person that sets up the business.
Right. Okay.
Sets up the business to be there so that you can come into the place and get your rug and tub. But not just is there a person to set up the business, but then there's people that provide the women come into that business, right?
Right.
So what we're right. So there's when we're talking about a free market capitalist system, we have to go back and if we want to understand the success of any product within that system, we can't simply look at it from the level of the consumer buying the bottom line consumer buying that product or consuming that product or that service at the bottom level. We have to go up farther to understand.
Right. Well, we can also compare it to what's happening in the stock market, where institutions, corporations are buying back their shares, driving up the prices. It's not individuals. It's not actual stakeholders. I mean, they are stakeholders, but when a CEO is buying up half the outstanding shares, it's driving the price up. But in reality, it's not regular people putting their money in.
Exactly. Right. And if you Nick, being a person that involves himself in day trading, you understand that.
Yes.
That the individual consumer of that share isn't really what drives the market up and down in the long run.
Right.
Correct?
Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying.
Is that correct, Nick?
Well,
yep.
Yeah. Keep going.
Is that correct, Nick, what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's totally correct.
Okay. Now, basically what I'm trying to say is that if the individual consumer has to understand that he is one part of a very large equation when it comes to a free market system, a capitalist free market system. And that capitalist free market system, I would break down into three major portions. You have the producer, you have the main distributor, and then you have retail, which is sort of a minor distributor. And after that is when it reaches the consumer. So the person that buys the hand phone, the person that buys the marijuana, the person that buys the bottle of booze, that's the lowest level. That is the base consumer that buys the product that comes off the shelf. The retailer above him is the distributor, which tends to be a larger corporation or company that takes in the product from the actual producer. And then your producer could be a farmer. It could be how would you translate that into stocks?
Well, it's stocks again. You're buying a piece of the company. You have depending on how many shares you have, the more shares you own in a stock, the more say on what the company's doing. So like I received mail today in regards to a financial update to one company I'm invested in. So it's a little bit different with that. You're obviously with when you're involved in being a stakeholder, you get to pick who's the CEO and the management on who's deciding on what direction the business is going in.
Okay, so where would you put those people in that circle? They're higher than the.
They're at the bottom end.
Are they higher than
the consumers at the bottom end?
The consumers at the bottom end. Where do you put people that are buying stakes, stocks, and shares?
They're the highest.
Okay.
And the more shares you own, the more say you have in what the company's doing, which is dangerous. So like if Goldman Sachs is buying all of GE, Goldman Sachs now owns GE.
Right.
You say.
Right. So what about when? Okay, so let's put it into perspective in this way. Again, like I said it before in the last broadcast we had. A very popular band, which would be the producer of the product, right? We have a set of musicians that sit in a room and pump out the songs to produce this product, and they happen to be owned by a certain company. So they're the production of the product. They pump out these songs, and then once the songs are done and produced and they're put into a product that can be sold, the retailers buy the distributors buy that product. and they buy it in bulk. They buy thousands and thousands of portions of that product that can later be distributed through retailers, which goes into the individual consumer. Okay?
Interesting.
So anytime you have a product that is basically sold through the media saying this product is worth $1 million. All right. And I don't know. I would like, Nick, you to try and make a comparison to your understanding of stocks, because I don't know much about that. But if the retailer buys up 1 million pieces of this product, then that product is sold. It's done.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Money's exchanged hands already. Somebody else now holds on to $1 million worth of that product. And that product, that $1 million worth of that product, is worth nothing unless it can be sold to the individual consumer. Correct?
Right. If he's the distributor, if he's the person in between.
Yes.
He gets to decide. He gets to decide on how he's going to dish it out and stuff. But again, if it's dealing with like a franchise or something like that, there's obviously stipulations involved. You know, like if you own a Tim Hortons, for example, if you're now using Tim Hortons, if you're open a franchise, you're going to have to abide by what Tim Hortons rules are as far as how you're going to market and advertise Tim Hortons.
Of course, and again, there's the difference between retail and distributor. The distributor has the product now. It's completely within their realm. It's been produced. The coffee and the donuts have been produced. And now the distributor tells you how it's going to be sold and how they're going to make a profit off of that product. Correct?
Yep.
Okay. So this is why, and I'll say this again after we talked in our last talk. This is why I told you that this particular Indonesian band went platinum and were given awards. Like they were on award ceremony television shows, and they were lined up in front of people and said, how incredible you are for selling 500,000 albums in a couple days. And everybody went, wow, that's fucking amazing. Your music must be fantastic. But here's the disconnect, is that the reason they sold that many albums is because from production to distribution, 500,000 copies were bought in the hopes that a profit could be made off of those 500,000 pieces later with the individual consumer. But it never happened. You see? And it's much like modern day Star Wars, where Disney banks this much money to produce this movie and then distributes this movie to this many movie theaters, and it makes that much money because it's already been sold to the theaters. But when it comes to the individual retail, nobody's watching it.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
So what's happening is you're not getting a really accurate evaluation on what that product is to the general population.
Right, it's manipulated. Same thing like on the unemployment, how many jobs are really created. They don't tell you if it was part-time jobs or seasonal jobs. It's manipulated.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, and this is where I wanted to move with that on my idea from before, was that when we take those concepts, everything I've just told you is the concepts of how a free market capitalist society functions. This is how it functions. This is at least one level of how it functions. And you can see how from production to distribution to individual retail sales and how that goes back into the economy, and everything functions and it works in this perfect capitalist free market society. It's a wonderful machine and it works well. It's been proven to work well. And what I wanted to say was this: when we get into post-secondary education, and and our next topic is going to dig into at post-secondary education is that if you teach, if you go into post-secondary education and you teach a person about the complete workings, as I've just said, of a free market capitalist system, if you go into a post-secondary education and you learn about that system, you cannot come out of that system as a communist. It's impossible. Do you understand?
Yep.
You cannot teach a person about the function of a free market capitalist system, how it works from production to distribution to consumerism and vice versa, and how it goes around. You cannot teach that to any intelligent person and have that same person come out of post-secondary education as a communist. They're not going to come out of it going, hail the state. We need free money from the government. You're not, it's impossible. It's fucking impossible. Yet, and Eosis, maybe in what you're studying in school today, I don't know within what you're studying and the people that you know in the university you're going to, but a lot of people coming out of post-secondary education in Canada today are coming out saying that communism is great, socialism is great, and this is where we need to go. So my opinion is this: people coming out of post-secondary education that are taking courses, general courses such as psychology, sociology, general studies, music as well,
liberal arts,
they're coming out of this with a 4-year degree, and they're championing communism. They're saying, down with the state, down with capitalist ideas, down with the free market. What we need to do is we need to rehearse what the USSR got wrong. Right?
Yeah.
It's fucking incredible. And basically what I'm saying is that these people are not being taught the contrary to that kind of brainwashing. They're being brainwashed to believe that. Because there's no way that they could sit in a neutral classroom with the benefits and harms of free market capitalism and come out a communist. There is no fucking way. Correct?
Yep. I completely agree. I never, when I went to college, I never really got, I went into college knowing about capitalism and socialism, bird's eye view on the two of them. I don't see how anybody, it's how you start off. Do you start off loving socialism or capitalism? And when a person starts going to school already loving capitalism, it's hard for him to see the other side of the argument, and vice versa with socialism versus capitalism.
Well, in my opinion, the concept of the free market it's a fabulous concept. Like it functions very, very well. It's not perfect, but it functions at a very good pace. It functions quite well. It's proven to function.
The invisible hand.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I agree with the concept of the invisible hand. You just let things, leave things alone. If you guys are familiar with Khan Academy, do you know Khan Academy?
No, not really.
Academy is this free online, course that's, gives you a good, if you're learning anything, if you're learning math or science or anything, you go to Khan Academy. He's got his own website and he's got YouTube videos. And one thing I started learning about, and through my friend Crypto Damas, was the idea of shorting a stock. And which is really unethical and terrible, because what you're doing is you're suppressing the free market. Now, what's the really nice thing about Bitcoin is how it's a free market.
Mhm.
And a lot of people are making a lot of money, including myself. And if you look at the chart of Bitcoin or anything that's related to Bitcoin, it's a very volatile graph. It's a very volatile chart. And if you were to look at, let's say, not GE, but Goldman Sachs or Honeywell or anything that's part of the military-industrial complex, it's just a straight line going up. That's not a free market. No graph should just be pointing in an upward direction without a correction being involved. And in regards to shorting a stock, when you short a stock, that means people are making money off of your loss.
Yeah.
And they want you to lose money. And the graph, the chart, it actually levels out. And it just goes in like somewhat of a straight line, and that's because someone is heavily manipulating it. So the invisible hand is someone's grabbing the invisible hand, so to speak.
So that's possible. But I mean, my idea is that you can't. Free market is a very it's, what do you call it? It's visceral. It's dynamic. It's natural.
It is natural. You're not supposed to. Again, what is regulation? You're stopping something from happening, right? You know that's wrong to do such a thing. And people that have a lot of money who have a vested interest in making sure that doesn't happen want to stop the free market.
Yeah. So basically, I just get sick and tired of hearing these children coming out of university and college.
But that's what they are. They're children. They're 19 between the ages of 18 and 23, 24. I mean, you know what you were like when you were that age. I remember what I was like at that age. You're just ignorant to the world at large, you know?
Yeah, you just got out of high school. You just got out of like 12 years of indoctrination, you know?
Right, exactly. And you're gonna get indoctrinated for another 4 to 8 years, you know?
Yeah. I think if you're gonna go to college or university, you gotta do it when you're older, a bit older, you know, like at least 20s, at least 20.
Late 20s, late 20s.
Yeah, exactly. So and you gotta kind of know, like, you gotta know what you're getting into and what you really want to do, and like you gotta.
Yeah, but no one know. You never know. Yeah, I had no idea what to major in and shit like that. You know,
half the people I meet at school don't know what the fuck they're doing. So, you know.
Well, we're bringing up college, and I did a little bit of a writing on college and why is college promoted so heavily in North America. And you see the soccer moms. You see the soccer moms with the I don't know if they have it in Canada or not, but there's always. All right, so there's always a sticker on the back of some big fucking SUV that says proud mom of my son going to indoctrination you, right? You know, honor student at a social justice warrior state, right? And you see these stickers all the time. And what has happened is that the baby boomers, they don't want their child not going to college because in some way it's them failing as a parent. So that's one reason why the parents shove their children into college, because they don't want their kid to be left out on what the rest of the community and rest of the children their age are doing. So if let's just hypothetically say my father's having a conversation with Joe Schmo down the road. Okay, Joe Schmo down the road's telling my father, "Oh, my son just got accepted to whatever fucking university," right? And my father, and then he rebuttals to my father, says, "Oh, well, what's your son or daughter doing?" "Oh, he works at a supermarket." "Oh, he's working in a union." "Oh, you mean he's not going to college? He must be a fucking idiot then."
Yeah.
Right. So that's part of the reason why you're seeing such a huge push into universities, because a lot of the millennial parents, the baby boomers, are shoving it because they don't want their sons or daughters being the odd person out.
Yeah. And it's kind of a bandwagon thing too, right? Like every other kid's going to college and university right after they graduate, so you're like, oh shit, I should do that too, because
I should do it too, right?
You know, like, oh my god, and you just dive right in, not knowing anything, you know, and then what do you spend?
I took a year off because I'm like I just got done with high school. I don't really feel like going right back into getting, you know, more grades and exams and anxiety attacks and what have you. But the other thing we have to look at is when you graduate high school, you don't really have that many options as far as what it is you can do. So for example, okay, so I graduate high school. Where's a full-time job?
Mhm.
There are no full-time jobs. Oh, you want to push shopping carts? Oh, do you want to be a deli clerk? Oh, do you want to work in a call center? Right. So a lot of these private enterprises, even public sectors, they want someone with experience. They want someone who's much older and more mature. And there's not really much of a vested interest in bringing up the younger generation to get them to learn a trade or learn a business or what have you. So when you graduate high school and all you see is dog shit, you know, jobs like working at Walmart or working in not even a factory, because there are no factory jobs anymore. You see absolutely nothing in front of you, and for the little that's in front of you, it's a minimum wage, no benefits, no room for growth, and it's kind of a cookie cutter type of job.
Yeah. So I mean, what are those guys? What options do they have? I mean, where do they go?
They have no. So you go to college. That's the option. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And there aren't really that many trade schools. There really aren't. The only way you can learn a trade at this point in time in America is joining a union. How do you get into a union? Nepotism. Uncle, father, grandfather,
it has to
guy
be
next door.
Someone you know.
It has to be someone you know. Right.
Yeah.
But Nick, check this out. If you've been to the third world as well as I have, and that's exactly how it functions on every fucking level. You become a fucking wood carver because your dad's a wood carver. And you become fucking good at it, and that's what you do. I mean, nepotism is the way of the third world because their education goes through their genealogy, goes through their life, the people that's around them.
Right.
You've been there, Nick. You understand that.
Or they work, or for the ones that don't have the type of nepotism or the resources to move on, they work in a garment factory.
Well, they work in a garment, but the garment, you got to understand the garment factory isn't, well, maybe nowadays, but realistically, most of the time the garment factory is owned by someone that's not even from that country.
Right, yeah.
It's like, some Western investor that's come in with enough money to put together a factory and hire a bunch of guys and their wives and kids to, stitch out clothes.
Well, a lot of the Western-owned garment factories in Cambodia, they actually do allow the locals to grow within the factory. So if you stay with the garment factory for X amount of years, you start off as a line worker. They eventually move you up to quality control and then management.
Yeah.
Now, if it's Chinese or Korean owned, you're actually just
fucked.
a slave. And
you're
fucked.
fucked.
Yeah,
you're
fucked.
You're absolutely right. And I'm so sick and tired of hearing this bullshit that Trump's hats are made from the slaves of children in Cambodia. Fuck you, man. I've seen the factories, man. The kids, if it's they live pretty good fucking lives, actually.
Yeah, they seem pretty happy. They don't seem to really but it's a different it's a different mindset, different culture. They're okay with just sitting at a table making stuffed teddy bears. They're like, "Oh, I'm happy as a pig in shit right now."
And they're making more money than the farmer down the street. They're making more money.
Right, and then that money subsidizes the farmers because that's their parents and what have you.
Exactly.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know what really grinds my gears about college and shit?
What's that?
Is that everybody goes to college and they have like this idea in their mind, like they're gonna graduate and get a good job, and then half of the time these people graduate in law school or whatever, and then they end up working at Tim Hortons. It's like,
well, they end up sitting in a coffee shop. Yeah,
it's stupid, man. It's like, what the fuck? Like,
what about
I mean? You gotta
do you know a lot of women in your faculty?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Do they wear their hair in their natural color, or do they paint it strange colors?
Well, I mean, I go to UVic, so like a lot of
So
enough said right there.
so they're all
But in
they're all
yeah.
painting their hair like fucking.
No. Like I go to the music school, so there's you get like the composition kind of chicks, and they paint their hair, and then you get like the symphony kind of girls, and they're kind of like they just like whatever straight hair, like short hair, whatever, like they don't really, they're not very colorful, but yeah, I don't know, like it's
Well,
just like
it's becoming it's becoming an educational industrial complex.
yeah, it's very
And
institutionalized.
what's going to happen is, and I swear to God, this better not fucking happen, is that all these little students with their between $60 and $125,000 college debt, is they're going to want to bail out, because in America, okay, because you guys have a public college system, we have a private college system, is that you cannot claim bankruptcy with a student loan debt. Can't do it in the United States.
Can't do
right?
it here either. Can't do it
Can't?
here.
Really?
Uh,
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
Right. So what's going to happen? All right, you're working at Tim Hortons, and you majored in horse shit. What's going to happen here? You took a gamble. You gambled.
Yeah, it is. Really, it is a gamble.
You measured
It's
in
a gamble.
how tight is.
They
how
have this.
my
Yeah,
vagina.
they have
That's
this idea like, oh, I'm gonna graduate and get this good job, and it's like, no, it doesn't fall in your lap like that. Like that's not how reality.
At one time that was the case. And again, I'll go back to comparing the stock market, where I see tens of thousands of businesses, tens of thousands, and they're on the New York Stock Exchange, and I'll look up their company profile, and what is it? It's an American-owned company, and they employ every other nationality underneath the sun other than their own.
Yes.
So these corporations have no vested interest, or they don't really give a shit about the country that they're originally from. Right. And in the past they did, Chevrolet only hired Americans. Honda only hired Japanese. It's at the point now, because of the American worker and the Canadian worker, even though he actually is more efficient as a worker than compared to a third worlder, he doesn't want to pay their medical. He doesn't want to support their family. He doesn't want to do anything. The corporations don't want to do anything of the sort. It's the bottom line. Bottom line, which is the dollar. So if that CEO, even though he's an American, he can move to Singapore, he doesn't give a fuck about what happens to America and the long-term ramifications of his actions. Doesn't care.
And you know what, Nick, I wanted to drift into this when I was going on my rant about capitalism and the system. What you're describing right now is not capitalism. And I want to make sure that is understood by anybody listening. What Nick is describing now is a possible and very likely outcome of a four-step capitalist free market. And that is corporatism.
Which is what's its real name?
What is it?
We went over this last week.
What? You say it.
Fascism.
Fascism. Okay. And this is what. Okay, so don't think that I'm trying to champion the concept of a free market capitalism like it's the be all end all.
Well, what it's really that's also it is fascism, and you can call it globalization, but globalization has another term, which is neoliberalism. So neoliberalism and the globalization are the same thing. When you talk about outsourcing jobs, you talk about neoliberalization, aka globalization. That's more or less what is happening.
Well, it's corporatism. Corporatism is the word. It's when you take free market and you put the spin of adding a personality to it. And in other words, no longer is it a free market capitalist system where the invisible hand functions, but now you take control and you give identity to that. And you give personality to capital. That's corporatism. You're giving personality to capital, and that's a horrible thing to do. It doesn't work. It's never worked. It's where we are now.
Right, and then here's the other thing. If let's say if you wanted to open a small corporation in China, they'll never let you.
No,
You didn't bribe the right. You didn't bribe the right people. You're not friends with some Indonesian politician.
No.
So there's nothing in it for you. These companies have so much money and equity that they don't really have to care about such things.
No, they don't care. They absolutely don't care. And again, I wanted to go. That's another thing I wanted to talk about when it came to what I was saying before. And again, going back to Star Wars. Star Wars. I bring up Star Wars because it is a phenomenon, and it is a corporate phenomenon. All right, it is a corporate phenomenon. It's a phenomenon of corporatism. It's not the free market anymore. Walt Disney owns fucking pretty much everything you touch.
Yeah, they own Marvel. They own
everything you touch.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
They own
your computer. They own everything you touch is owned by them. Okay, so you have to understand that they don't give a shit about your opinion on their product. In a free market, your product decides whether or not you live or die. If your product is shit, you no longer are a part of that free market. But in corporatism, you have enough power to say, I will starve the person that is trying to buy food to make my point, and I'll still be in power.
Well, that's been going on for fucking thousands of years, pretty much.
Yeah, you're correct.
You know what I mean?
But the corporatism is fascism, and I mean that's where we are.
That is, yeah. We keep giving the term fascism and socialism, for that matter, fancy terms. Oh, the word progressive. What is progressive? That's communist / socialism, and bankism and corporatism is what fascism. So we've been manipulated. We've manipulated the definitions of things, and we need to go back to calling a spade a spade. What you just described is not corporatism, because corporatism gives it this I don't know, a white collar with a suit and tie, and leather briefcase. That's what, when I think of corporatism and bankism. When I think of fascism, I think of they got a gun, they got fancy uniforms.
They got a gun. It's put to your head. And you're going to do this, or you're going to die.
And you're going to buy Apple.
Yes, you're going to buy Apple.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And progressive. When you think of the word progressive, you think oh, wow, it's so lovely. And we're moving on, and we're going to be such a beautiful world with gumdrop smiles and candy canes. No, but it's if anything, progressive is regressive when you're talking about. I don't really see taking a dick in the ass being very progressive. If anything, and it's regressive.
Well, you have to understand that and this goes back to the whole analogy of 1984. It's double speak. It's double think.
Double speak, right?
Double speak, double think. It's the opposite. The Coalition for Peace is actually starting wars, and that's where we're at.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
If they say they're being progressive, they're being regressive. They're going backwards. And they have to use that language. They have to use the opposite language. Otherwise, nobody would accept it. Nobody would accept it. And I want to do a quote from our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, who I believe is the bastard son of Fidel Castro. I'm pretty sure he is, because if you look up Fidel Castro and Justin Trudeau pictures look alike, they're spitting image. This fucking guy is not the father. I'm sorry, he's not the son of his biological father, who was a prime minister of our country. He's not. I want to read a quote from him.
Yeah, he doesn't look like him at all.
He doesn't look like him. He looks like Castro.
I don't know what his mom looks like, but he doesn't look like his dad at all.
He doesn't look like. Well, he looks like Castro.
Yeah. No, yeah, he kind of does. Yeah.
He looks like fucking Castro.
Yeah.
Now, I'm gonna read you a quote from him. Here's the
Oh
quote.
my God, he does look like him.
Yes, he does.
You looked him
Look
up.
at any
Dear
asshole can look
Lord.
up and see it. Yeah, it's
Yeah, he
pretty
does
sad.
kind of. He has the little mustache too in that one picture. And
Well, and this is the funny thing is that if you didn't know the history of his father, Pierre Trudeau, his wife was a whore. I mean, he was a
Yeah,
cuck.
she was I think she was bipolar. Well, yeah.
Yeah, and they were swingers. They were swingers, man.
Cool.
Our Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau was a swinger.
That's progressive.
It's very progressive. His wife fucked the entire Rolling Stones.
Well, the Rolling Stones fucked every woman.
Well, but
probably.
Yeah,
but they
you know.
fucked the wife of our Prime Minister, dude. That's
They probably fucked the wife of everybody's prime minister. You know.
no. But we know for sure.
Mick Jagger's fucked Queen Elizabeth for fuck.
Yes, fine. Mick Jagger fucked Queen Elizabeth, maybe, but we know for sure that he fucked the wife of our Prime Minister, and our older Prime Minister, Trudeau, was a friend of Castro. He was a friend of Castro. They hung out. There's look online, Trudeau and Castro pictures. There's tons of them. There are pictures with Castro and our Prime Minister's wife holding a baby with him. The dude.
Yeah,
was
no, I see that. Yep.
The dude was a cuck. His wife was a whore. And their son looks exactly like Fidel. Exactly. They're a spitting image. And nobody's talking about that. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to go, hey, wait a second.
Well, nobody's ever seen the pictures.
Are you kidding me? The pictures are online. Anybody can see them.
Yeah. Well,
Anybody
nobody looks up. Hey, let's look up Justin Trudeau looks like Castro. Yeah, why not? Yeah, let's do it.
Well, why isn't the news? Why isn't fucking the Canadian news doing it? Isn't that news?
No, because the news is fucking bullshit and controlled and rigged and all that.
Okay, but the point is that this. Okay, look, Castro's son runs our fucking country. I know it.
That's pretty scary.
Cubana.
Many people know it. Yeah,
we live in Cubana.
Canauba.
Nah, I like Cubana better.
Cubana's better. But anyway, I want to read a quote from Little Castro. Okay, this is Little Castro's quote. He says, "Oh shit! The very concept of a nation founded by European settlers is offensive to me. Old stock white Canadians are an unpleasant relic and, quite frankly, replaceable. And we will replace them." Justin Trudeau, when asked to comment on his open borders immigration strategy.
That sounds like something Castro would say.
Well, I found it as an American, I found it very strange that America went in the complete opposite direction as Canada did during the last year or so. I actually thought Canada would follow suit with America, electing someone who is completely not politically correct and a little bit more brazen and, in your face and, take charge kind of a guy. You guys did not go in that direction. And as you can see with that transgender law, the Ontario Human Rights Commission nonsense that Jordan Peterson screams and yells about, you guys went in the complete opposite direction as us.
Oh yeah, like you should see Victoria. We got the transgender bathrooms.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
You have to see that?
Well, it's like it's a unisexual bathroom, so girls and guys can share.
Okay, that's one thing, but that's one thing.
It's because they made that because of the whole transgender thing. That's why they did that.
Okay, but a unisex bathroom isn't new. I mean, when I was in Korea in 2007, they had unisex bathrooms in Korea, and it wasn't about transgenderism. It was just like a matter of space. Like everybody goes shit in the same bathroom. We don't.
No, I don't think this is a matter of space. This is like, because I can be a woman, or I can be a man, or I can be a tree, or I can be a fucking raccoon, or I can be anything. Like.
So if that's the case, can you go into a female bathroom in Victoria as a man? Can you do that?
Well, no, they have designated unisex bathrooms.
God, okay. I would hate to know what goes on in those fucking bathrooms, man.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, man. It's a little weird. I'll tell you that.
That's really not progressive of the both of you.
Hey, it's not. That wasn't. That's what's happening.
Hey! You guys don't forget you don't have freedom of speech like I do. All right, so don't be criticizing trannies.
No, he's right. He's right. You know, we don't have.
I'm not criticizing trannies.
You better not be. It's his human right.
Some trannies are fucking cool, man. I've met a couple.
Fuck
That's
off.
disgusting. Oh my
there's
god.
tons.
Fuck off. You met a couple. I met a couple trannies.
There's
They're
trannies
cool.
all over the.
It's
No, well, they're kind of
look,
fucked
I mean,
up.
if it has a wig, I can get a blowjob.
I met a couple trannies. Fuck that shit, man. Where'd you meet?
Hey, man.
Yeah, I needed a warm hole.
It's not like it's not like I was like, hey, I'm gonna go. I want to meet some trannies and befriend some trannies today. No, it was like they're just everywhere. So you run into a tranny and you're like, oh fuck, and
Where?
it's weird. Isn't it?
You see him?
In Victoria, man. There's
See, in America, they're
Drag queens
still
everywhere.
like we kind of accepted the whole gay thing, kind of, but the transgender thing is just never gonna get really accepted in America.
Wait a second.
No, it's not accepted.
Oh,
Still,
dude.
it's not.
It's disgusting. Are you kidding
It's
me?
mental illness. It's goddamn mental illness.
Oh yeah, it's pretty fucked
Right.
up,
Well,
yeah.
you know what? You should let the person with Down syndrome be a captain of an aircraft carrier. It's his human right.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like I don't know, like whatever. They're nice and they're harmless-ish.
No, they are. They're
not harmless.
Yeah, they are not harmless. I agree.
Kidding me? They're not.
I don't trust them. I don't trust them as far as I can throw them, but I mean, I haven't had any problems or anything with any.
All right.
It's not like
let's
yeah,
put it
let's
this
not
way.
talk about trannies.
No.
What, you're
What?
afraid? Trudeau's coming after you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's put it this way.
Tranny.
Guys. Look, I had a friend. I had a good friend that I grew up with. I knew from grade 3. Man, how old was I in grade 3? Fucking 8 years old, man. And I still
You're, I think 8 or 9 years old. No, yeah, 8.
about 8 years old. I'm still friends with
Yeah.
him. You know, when he turned when we made it to grade 9 or 10, he became schizophrenic, and he had a really hard life, man. I was there with him the whole time. You know, I stood behind that fucker, and I was like, you know what, man, fucking deal with it, get through it, suck it up, and make a good life of what you got. But this guy went through schizophrenic episodes where he honestly thought that he transformed into a werewolf at night. And he was convinced it was real. I mean, to him, it was real. To him, it was real. Not to anyone else, but to him, it was real. And do you know what society didn't do for him? They didn't go, you know what? You are a werewolf. You should embrace that. Become the werewolf at night. Don't let anybody tell you you're not. Nobody fucking did that.
Well, that's probably a good thing.
Yes, which is the same thing with these fucking transgender pieces of shit. They're out of their minds. It is a mental illness.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
You don't say to somebody, oh, yeah, you really are a woman. Yeah, go with it. And you don't say to a schizophrenic, oh, no, you really are a werewolf, actually, at night. You know, when everybody's asleep, you are a werewolf. Embrace it, and I'll help you embrace it. No, man. You give them medication, and you give them help.
Well, on the topic of transgenders, and I wanted to mention this today, and I've discussed that I think Trump has backed off on a lot of his promises he made. And I just saw on the news that the whole transgender ban in the military, well, it's on hold, guys. It's on hold.
Fuck.
So you know what that means? It's never going. They're there to stay. So again, Trump has backstabbed the American people.
If he did that, then,
So what? Trannies can join the army?
It's under Obama, they were allowed, okay? And now Trump said that he was going to undo all that and keep trannies out of the military. And today, well, it's on hold. which means, guess what? They're there to
It's
stay.
not going
Yeah. Well,
bullshit, man.
that's not surprising.
Along with your precious wall and the immigrants getting kicked out, it's not happening.
Not happening.
Not happening.
Hey, another politician fucking full of bullshit. Hey, what else is new?
Yeah, he went from business to politician in a jiff. Yep.
In like
Yeah.
2 months, basically.
Yep. So again, the social engineering, the globalization, everything that we are trying to fight off, it's continuing. Obviously, there's been with Trump, there's a couple, how do you say it? There's a couple of gear jammers trying to slow down this progressive nonsense. But you know what? We should have just let Hillary become president. I'm at the point where, bring it on. I'll vote Democrat. Just get this show on the road. End it already.
It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
Well, Hillary's not going to do anything better.
No, it'll be much worse. That's the point. I just want it. I just want the other shoe to drop at this point, so we can just end it now. Just
right. Yeah,
that's kind of my thing. Is it since 9/11, it's been a slow tiptoeing to totalitarianism, and I'm just like, you know what, fuck it, dude. Can we just get there already? So we can see what's at the end of this horrible rainbow.
Yeah, no shit, man.
Which does lead me to my 14 points, 14 sign points of slavery.
Yes, that's where we need to go.
So I think it's important for us to share.
Bring it on.
Yeah, give me 1 second here. What I have here is from a book called None Dare Call It a Conspiracy. This book happened to be the inspiration for Alex Jones for what he is today. He said that when they've interviewed Alex Jones, why do you do what you do? Where's this all come from? Your hostility towards government and whatever, babies being eaten in tinfoil, New World Order, Illuminati bullshit. And he said it happened to be a very short book called None Dare Call It a Conspiracy. The book is about how we're being slowly enslaved into a New World Order. It was written in the 80s. So I have the book here. Give me 1 second. Okay. So we'll start off with number 1.
Okay.
And we can discuss each point as we go along. Number 1, restrictions on taking money out of the country and on the establishment of retention of a foreign bank account by American citizen.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, actually, in 2010, Obama made it clear to banks around the world, if an American does come into your bank, you need to take his passport information down. This way it gets reported back to the IRS.
Okay. So how much money was it?
It doesn't matter. So lucky for me, while I was in Cambodia, I was able to do it without again, it's Cambodia. I was able to open it without them taking my information down. So again, it's restrictions on taking money out of the country. The limit is $10,000.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I knew that. $10,000. You cannot take $10,000. You can't. But is that cash or? It's just.
I think cash.
Yes, you can't walk out with more than 10,000 cash. I understand.
There are ways. But that's a problem. Why can't I leave my country with my money?
It is a problem. But
Why? What makes you think it a problem?
No.
It's your money. So
yeah,
it's my money.
Yeah,
so
I'm
be
saying
able to take all your fucking money, or
Yeah, I agree. I think you should take all your money. I think you should take whatever you want. But I'm saying it's a problem because they're not going to let that happen, man.
All right, exactly. That's exactly the point. And now with Pinocchio Obama and his minions, if you were to open a bank account overseas, that bank is now reporting it back to the United States government.
Ugh, Christ! It's like
right.
Traveling with cash is like traveling with drugs. Let me.
Yeah, that's funny.
I want to give you guys an example. A personal experience. And I do this. It seems I do this every time, but I want to do it again. When I came back to Canada in June of last year. It's still 17, right? So in 16, of June of 2016, when I first came back after a long hiatus in Asia, I was sitting in the Calgary airport, Calgary, Alberta airport, waiting for my luggage to come through. And I watched a officer with a uniform and badge and a dog, a very nice shepherd.
Oh, German Shepherd. You mean like the Gestapo in Nazi Germany?
Yeah.
Go on, tell me more.
Yeah, beautiful German shepherd. Here he was in uniform as I was waiting for my luggage to come around the carousel. And this was in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, as I just come back from Asia, first time to stay for a long time. It was a monumental experience for me. And here I saw this man in uniform with his shepherd sniffing luggage, right? Now, I thought I'm always looking for drugs. And my son, my 10-year-old son at the time, he was 10, he said, Dad, why is that dog going around sniffing things? And I said, well, I think he's looking for drugs, son. You have nothing to worry about because, we have no drugs. and we just watched and then at some point he started kind of nosing some Asian guy. He was like a Chinese looking guy, Asian guy. Started nosing him, and the cop goes, okay, look, we need to look in your luggage and da da da. And then I found out through talking to the guy that got investigated, the dog was not looking for drugs. Guess what that dog was looking for? And
money.
Yes.
Bones.
Money. That dog was trained to sniff out money.
Money has no scent.
Oh,
yeah, it does. American dollars do, baby. That's a beautiful smell, by the way.
Yeah, but wouldn't it stink like whoever owns it? You know what I mean? Like,
no. The dog was trained to sniff dollars.
That's fucked up.
Fucking drugs.
That's right.
Weird.
That's right,
man.
baby.
So cash
is drugs.
Drugs, but it's legal. But
no, it's not legal.
It's a felony. I think it's a felony if you don't claim more than $10,000. So again, that's number one. So we can agree. We can check number one off on the slavery count, right?
Yes.
All right, great.
Number one checked off.
Checked off. Slavery number one. Restrictions
That's
on taking money out. Two, abolition of private ownership of handguns. Obviously, in America, they're trying their best to take that away. Every year, they're pushing that one. Right? So they're not there yet with taking the guns away.
No, they're trying. Every year they're
trying.
And they try to take guns away from people in America with these fucking mass shootings. And I swear to God, 90% of them are hoaxes. They're not real. Yeah. Now, nobody wants to say that. Nobody fucking wants to say that.
I'll fucking say it.
But the evidence is there. There's no evidence that these shootings actually fucking happened the way the media says they happened.
Well, I never discussed it with you guys, with you, AM, or on air. My red pill political awakening happened to be Sandy Hook.
Yes.
I knew when I first saw that. I knew. I go, this is bullshit. I know what the fuck's going on.
Which one's that?
Sandy Hook.
What's that? What one is that?
Shooting.
Well, I know there's so many fucking shootings I can't.
Oh, come on! You don't have the scorecard? I got the scorecard.
Like I remember
Columbine, the trench coat mafia. Okay, that's the OG. I mean, they were the predecessors.
Yeah. I knew that. I know that.
I mean, don't fuck with the special ed kids. That was their motto. You know?
I got bubble gum with my cards. You didn't.
Right. I got baseball cards. I got them like baseball cards. The mass shooting. DC Sniper. Anybody? That was a classic. The DC Sniper.
I'll trade you my DC Sniper. for your
For
fucking
you-
Columbine. You got
Orlando.
I'll
For
check
your
for Orlando. No, you gotta give me a DC. I'm gonna give you a DC sniper and Aurora shooting for one Sandy Hook.
oh,
It's a good one.
that's a good.
It's a decent trade, bro, and it's a mint card. There's no dents or anything on it. So
Shit.
again, you know, the abolition of private ownership of handguns. They've been every time the American people say no, 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 they keep coming back. Every time people say no, they keep coming back. Same thing with gay marriage. The American people for the past 100, 200 years saying no, no, come on, you want gays to get married, don't you? You want gay people to get married? They have a right to get married too. The people, they just kept going and going. And eventually, the American people give in. They just get wheedled down and they just forfeit. The
It's
gun
like,
thing,
what the fuck? Who cares?
and even with the whole gun concept where they're not going to take the guns away, I honestly think they can just come and take them whenever the hell they want. They'll do it, and I don't think the American people
won't
are.
do it.
I really do think the American people will just roll over like fucking bitches. And
Well,
give
do you know
their
why they
guns in.
won't? Do you know why they won't roll in and take the guns away? Do you know why they won't?
Why?
Yes, because they make money off of those guns.
Right. Well, every time there's a mass shooting,
Gun sales go
gun
up.
prices go up. So they love it. The
Yeah,
they
ammo
love it.
companies love that shit.
That's
just-
so fucked up, man.
It's just a game, man.
Well,
Just
then how are they
a game.
fucking supposed to get rid of guns?
they don't want to get rid of guns.
Selling them.
They don't want to get rid of guns. They just
Well,
want
it's just a
you
game.
to play the game that they're playing, and they
Right.
profit.
Right.
They profit on every end. They profit.
And in the meantime, the police are buying tanks, armored personnel carriers, mine-sweeping equipment. So it's a 2 for 2. They're getting what they want out of it. They're getting leftover military surplus equipment, and you're buying up ammo. So it becomes like a mirroring. Oh, you're doing that now. I'm going to do that now. You're doing that now. I'm
like
doing
this.
that.
It's
Win,
like this.
win, win.
It's like this. Oh, war is bad. We need to end war, but we make millions of dollars off of weapons to fight wars. So we're going to just keep engineering wars, but we're going to keep selling you the idea that we should end wars. It's the same bullshit, man.
Yeah.
Do you honestly believe that the fuckers that want to end war want to?
No, of course not.
They own the world because they manufacture the weapons for war. Do you honestly think they want to end gun ownership?
I find it quite comical. You know, during the Cold War, it was mostly the Soviet Union supplying the Third World with weapons. Now that the Soviet Union's gone, guess who's supplying every Third World with weapons now? It's America.
Of course. Dude,
Right.
It's not America. It's companies. It's people. It's corporations.
Yeah, but
money.
again, the government's allowing these corporations to give out M16s to ISIS and shit.
Well, nowadays, corporations and government, you can't really divide them. It's very hard to see the
Right.
line
And
between
again,
them.
we're back to fascism. That's
Yeah,
correct.
back to fascism.
We're back to fascism. And
So,
I think
full
the Soviet
circle.
Union's Russia, I'm sorry. Russia's fallen down that peg quite a bit since the 80s. I think they're like 4th or 5th now as far as supplying weapons to the world. France is number 2. Go figure that.
Wow.
Well, think about this.
France,
Dude, anybody listening that thinks that even for a second thinks that that the left wing media and they're hyping up of we must ban guns. Are you fucking kidding me? They'll never ban the sale of guns because that makes them billions of dollars.
Well, I think they'll close it down, and then they're gonna go after. They gotta go after the guns. It's gonna happen.
They won't. They don't need to. They don't need to, man. Look, and this is we're already look. 1984.
I agree with what you're saying, and I definitely do take your argument, and I do agree with that. But I think down the line they're just gonna be like, all right, that's the end of it. We're taking it.
Yeah, because
they
don't even need to make billions of dollars anyway because money's just printed out of thin air. So like, why the fuck they own all the money? They don't need more money. They fucking make money.
They want power now. They want power now.
Yes.
So how they gonna get power? How they gonna get more power? They gotta disarm the people.
The idea of disarming the people is it's a ghost. They already have disarmed us. We lost.
Yeah, they're good. Yeah, that's good. I like that. I tend to, yep.
We've been disarmed. We've lost.
Mm.
It
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
matter if we have guns. They do that to spike and
The sales. Yeah.
they
Okay.
do it to spike sales to just make money because that's their. Uh,
They're just fucking with people's minds.
no, but yeah, Ionis, you say a power, or you say, oh, they have the money. It doesn't matter to them. It's just that's the game they've always played.
Yeah, it's just entertainment or
It's
something.
just entertainment. They pull it in, it goes out. They pull it in, it goes out. They don't need the fucking money. Yes, but guess what? They don't need your guns either. They're done. We are done. We lost the war a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I think it's very sad when people keep, bringing up the hype like we can turn it around. No, it's done, dude. You're the hamster on the wheel. You're not going to fucking change anything by stepping off of it. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
You don't own the wheel. You don't own the cage. You don't own nothing.
You're right. That's good. You don't own the wheel. You don't own the gate.
No.
You don't even own the cedar chips that you piss and shit on.
No, man.
You don't own any of it. Like it's over. It's done.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I'm cutting the water off on your little bottle, also, you piece of shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, rats in a cage, man.
Okay, so number 2, we still have guns, but they're working on it, and they obviously making money off of it in the process of scaring you and the boogeyman that they're coming to get it.
Right.
You still gotta get to number 14, bud.
I know. Yeah, I know. Anyway, this is fun, right? I thought this was going to be good to do this tonight. Yeah. Okay, 3, detention of individuals without judicial process. Checkmate the suspension of habeas corpus under Bush and Obama. I don't know what the status is under Trump. And as we know, Obama killed American citizens with drones overseas.
Yeah. Holy Christ.
What? With drones?
With drones.
What? Drones can fucking shoot people?
You didn't know that?
Oh, yeah.
You didn't know that they can mount
where's the Geneva Convention now with the drones?
Damn. Drone wars. Like Attack of the Drones.
Attack of the Drones. This is fucking T-1000 action.
Damn. Fuck.
So again, they suspended habeas corpus. There are many people, especially people that spoke about 9/11, have been held without judicial process. There's a couple. The names are slipping my mind, but apparently one woman who was a secretary in the CIA was in talks with Saddam Hussein prior to the invasion of Iraq, and she became outspoken saying that what really happened during the war in Iraq, that she was saying that Saddam Hussein was actually trying to help us fight terrorism, so on and so forth. And Saddam Hussein wanted to revitalize his economy. He wanted to help. He wanted to bring in U.S. corporations to help infrastructure in Iraq. And when she started speaking about that stuff, they threw her in jail. They doped her up and claimed that she was just crazy. And that's what happened to that woman.
Damn.
Right.
Fucking assholes, eh?
Yeah. So again, the suspension of habeas corpus, that falls under number 3. So we can check. Number 1.
Yeah, number 3. Good. You're right.
Right. So I don't know what it is in Canada. Right. I don't know what the status is.
It's worse.
Probably the same.
Anything you say that is there is worse here.
Okay, so number 4, requirement that private financial transactions be keyed to social security numbers or other government identification so that the government records of these transactions can be kept and fed into a computer.
What?
So everything you buy is
linked to your social security number and kept in some type of government database.
No.
Well, that's just like Facebook and Google and all.
That's Google, right? Yeah, there you go. Right. So we get number
on everything.
So yeah, we're not. This 14 sign points of slavery is not looking too good right now. Right?
No, man. You're only at number 4. Holy shit!
I know. So Google's got everything, and you go to Chase using your debit card and your credit card. They have, and mind you, your debit card's linked to your social security number.
Yeah.
right?
So why do they need to know that? What is that going to help
Well,
them? How is that going
Well, what'd you buy? If you
Yeah,
have nothing to hide, why don't you tell us? If you have nothing to hide, why don't you just tell us what you're doing?
yeah. Tell us everything you do all the time if you got nothing to
Right.
hide.
If you
And
got
all
nothing to hide.
And not only that, what did you buy
Right.
today? What did you buy today? Because we can give you an advertisement that might make you want to buy the
Right.
same thing tomorrow.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
I
that
mean, it's
makes
all
sense.
money. I mean, it's all about advertisement too. Like if on your phone, if you have on your phone where there's like an option for location on your phone on
Tell
all
us where you
smartphones.
are. Tell us where you
Yeah, it
are.
tells
Do you want to
us
write a
exactly
review
where you
about where
are.
you went?
Yes, everywhere you go.
Right.
If you have a Google account, like we all do, if you have a Google
Mhm.
account, it'll go, "Oh, I saw that you were at Sears today. Tell us about what you thought."
Yeah. And make sure it's
Really?
hey, AM, make sure it's not a 1-star review or else we're gonna delete it and then we're gonna
Yeah,
have social justice warriors harass you that you wrote a 1-star review.
we
Hey,
saw.
Yeah.
We
hey,
saw.
we're all 5 stars under the eyes of Yelp and Google, am I right? Everyone gets a 5-star rating.
Yeah.
Stalin gave everyone under his regime a 5-star rating.
Everyone gets
Yeah.
everyone's a hero of the Soviet Union.
Everyone. You don't get.
Uh,
There's no such thing as a 1-star rating in the Soviet Union because if you were under 5, you were dead.
Fuck,
On that note, I had a Yelp account, and I loved Yelp prior to me moving to Cambodia, and I had like 300 something reviews, and I was an elite member. I started criticizing Obama in the chat spot, and they took my elite status away,
Mhm.
right? So I started
Whoa.
talking shit about Obama. They took one of my ranks away. So I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, whatever. I'll keep writing reviews. Uh, I haven't used Yelp since moving away, and I got an email a couple months ago stating that we're taking almost half of your reviews down because they're not politically correct.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were all about Obama and shit.
No, it was just me talking shit. Like Home Depot looks like Kabul, Afghanistan, and you know, like, my friend, good RPG for you, my friend. You know,
No, don't worry. It's okay. I got you. Just give me
it's
your.
good. You buy, it's good deal. So all
All
my
you gotta do is
reviews were
write
like
it down.
shit like that, and everyone, dude, my reviews were legendary. Everybody would write me messages saying how funny my reviews were. Right? I
I got.
talk shit. I would just talk shit about every establishment, right? And
That's
the no fun political correct control PC Nazis deleted. I think I got a 300 views. They took about 40 down. And mind you, that was
Damn.
going back to 2011, 2012. Fast forward to 2017. Delete.
Yeah, done.
Damn.
Now, also, I want to make a point to Americans out there. Did you know you don't actually when you have a son or a daughter, you don't actually have to have them have a social security number.
Okay, stop for a second. Bob Joe in the comments says, I'm serious at Cabin Boy. Is Lamprey, which is you, Nick, is Lamprey still in New York? What is
I am in New
his
York.
plans for getting back to Cambodia? Are you just focusing on making money right now?
Well, oh, look, Mark Zuckerberg joined us. You see, I remember. That's great.
Of course, Mark's a good friend of ours. We go way back.
Yeah, Mark, thank you
Yeah,
for
yeah.
everything. You know, I know you're trying really hard to get into China, marrying that fucking gook wife of yours. You're really trying to get, trying to bridge yourself into China there. I don't think the Chinese are going to be too keen on that.
That's okay.
But,
You can get Facebook in China.
We tried to warn you, Mark. We tried to warn you. Look, Chinese chicks aren't that great, okay? We tried to warn you. The tits, they're not so supple. They're not as supple as they are in other parts of Asia, right?
in response to Bob Joe, I am in New York and I'm sucking dick in New York. It's brutal here.
Is that like what?
But again,
Manhattan?
no, I'm in Long Island. I'm on Long Island.
Island.
But the thing is, I actually do want to wait out and see what happens with the election in July, as far as me going back to Cambodia, and also the doors are closing. I don't think their visa policy is going to stay for too much longer. Where
I don't think it will either, man. I don't believe
they're gonna close the doors, man. And they're gonna turn it into Thailand and Vietnam, where you have to, if you want to live there, you have to have $60,000
2 months
US.
2 months.
Right. They're gonna 2 months. I don't know what is in Indonesia, but again, I think Cambodia is just gonna close the door.
What's in Thailand now? 2 months?
It's 30 days, and you have to go to the border, re-register, and go back.
Guaranteed Cambodia.
Or you get a retirement visa in Thailand, but you have to have $60,000 in a Thai bank.
Okay, guarantee you in a year, Cambodia be the same.
Yeah,
1 month, 2 months.
That's why I really don't think it's a plausible idea for me to go back. And again, they're having the election come July, and me and AM covered this in a couple chats ago. That there's a strong possibility that the West is just gonna bulldoze Southeast Asia because just because they don't go along with their agenda.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
So all right,
okay, go to the next number. Number.
All right, hold on.
Number what? 5.5.
Number 5, use of compulsory education laws to forbid attendance at presently existing private schools. So abolishment of private schools. That's more or less what the objective is. Now, in New York City, there is an attack on boarding schools, which is private schools. And again, we have a very progressive mayor in New York City, Mr. Bill de Blasio, which isn't even his real name. And he's got a mixed race baby, and he's a devout communist. So there you go. There's a good example of them trying to end private schools.
Fuck it.
And of
What
course,
is he?
and of course, they're going to try ending educating your children at home.
He's like half white, half black kind of thing, or
Yep.
If you're half white in America,
he's got a half and half.
in America, if you're half white and half black, you call yourself black because that gives you all the privilege. Like, you don't go down the white route.
Right. So we can five is a bit of it's kind of with number 2 where it's a bit in the gray area. It's trying to be done. They've been trying to do it for a long time. You guys can look it up. Look up de Blasio boarding schools. Just drop that into Google and you'll see that he's attacking private schools in New York City.
Really?
All right.
Attacking private schools in America is one thing. Private schools in Southeast Asia is another.
Okay, that's a whole different. That's a whole different ball game.
It's a whole different ball game. So what you're saying with private schools in America, yes, that's fucked up. Trying to tear that down.
Well, they're really trying to attack Christian schools. Is really what that's really about. Because majority
schools are.
Right. Exactly right. You got that right.
So like, okay, they're attacking Christian schools, so that means they're not Christian, obviously, and
they're anti-Christian,
in one
right.
sense,
or anti-religious in another. Yeah. I mean,
okay. Hey, there should be a separation of church and state, huh?
Yeah.
That's the argument they use.
Yeah. Well, fuck off, right?
They don't.
Right. Down with everything. Worship the state.
Now you're gonna teach about fucking transgenderism, and you can be whatever you want.
Climate change and open borders, and how everybody has a right to a doctor, and everyone has a right to a bowl of.
Yeah. You can be a cat or a dog or whatever you want, man.
Whatever you want, but we're gonna financially fuck you in the process.
But you can't be a Christian in a private school.
No.
End of the private schools, but. Yes, Jimmy, you are a dog, and we support you for being a dog.
That's right. You want to be a Great Dane or a pit bull, we're supporting you. Because we love you for whatever it is you choose to be, whatever animal.
But you're not a Christ's sake, you're not a man. Cannot be a Catholic. You cannot be a Catholic or a man.
And hey, you know what? If you find another dog, and that dog happens to be a boy dog, you know what? You can do whatever you want.
Yeah. Do whatever you want, man. You can be a rock.
Be a rock.
Hey, listen, your freedom. You're free to stick whatever objects you want up your asshole. Okay, that's freedom.
Yeah. That's freedom. That's freedom, man. Okay.
All right. So
All right,
number,
number 6. Bud.
number 6 is this one we can scratch because it still hasn't happened. Is compulsory non-military service. So you have to join the military no matter what.
What do you mean that hasn't happened?
Well, that's like that's going on already.
Conscription is what
Conscription
that is.
exists. It depends. It's
Exists in Germany and shit like that.
no. Conscription exists even in the United States and Canada, depending on the state of war defined by the state at the time of war.
All right, yeah. No. They're talking about that you have to go into military, similar to what Israel does. You know,
Or
Israel, it's mandatory. You have to serve like 2 or 4 years, you know.
Or like Korea, South Korea. Yeah.
And that's understandable for those countries, but
who is conscripted to mandatory?
Now you're mentioning something that I wanted to discuss right now. Is that the last couple years? Now you're telling that women are now in the military and they have to be on the front lines. So now women are open to conscription.
Ooh, women.
Really? Yeah.
So more cannon fodder.
Women.
So
now
that
I would like each of us to send an email to the president of South Korea and say that we demand women be allowed conscription into your mandatory military service. How about we do that? How about we say that to the Koreans that do have the system where if you're a male, all males that are over 18 must serve 2 years mandatory in the military in South Korea. So should we demand that women do the same?
Yeah, well, that's what's happened in America. You're demanding women do the same, which is again a more moral decline in the West.
Yes. What are the Koreans? What would the Koreans say if you demanded the same thing? They'd laugh in your fucking face.
What about transgender? Is that considered woman?
Oh yeah. Everyone go, including the man in high heels. He's got to go and throw himself in the bloody battle against the North Koreans.
Now imagine. Well, now imagine that war.
Dressed like a girl, but like, yeah.
Like imagine that war. I mean, can you put that on a if you're a gamer, can you put that on a
okay
4x4?
All right. Well, in all seriousness, now. I got to meet someone that worked at the U.S. Embassy. We had lunch. I was actually trying to get employed by the U.S. Embassy, and what he did was his job was to go and find all the MIAs and POWs that never came back from the Vietnam War. And he was explaining to me, and AM, you'll love this because you love this topic, is that we can never have conscription in the U.S. ever again because it will be complete fucking anarchy in the military.
It'll never happen. It will never happen.
You can't do it. He says he was telling me how bad it was during the Vietnam War and how Americans were savages during the Vietnam War.
Well, you know how they did.
I mean, we're smoking hash out of human skulls and fucking, I got some sick fucking stories about the Vietnam War. I got wild stories about it.
Do you know how they did that?
Do you know what fragging is? Do you guys know what fragging is?
No, tell me.
Okay, so fragging is let's say there's a platoon of 40 guys and there's the lieutenant, which is your commissioned officer. Usually the commissioned officer is much younger, college grad, 23, 24 years old, and he's barking orders at these guys who are like in their, late 20s, early 30s. And most of these GIs were already in the heart of battle for doing 2 or 3 tours in Vietnam. Oh. And now this college grad comes along and says, "Listen, we got to go take that hill." And all the other guys were like, "Is this kid fucking retarded? We're gonna get slaughtered if we take that fucking hill. He doesn't know what he's talking about." Now, mind you, he's the officer. You have to do what he says. So what did the GIs do? They fragged him, throw a grenade, and tell him that the enemy killed him.
Really? Eh? They blow him up.
They blow up. They would kill their own guys, and that happened. That happened all the time during the Vietnam War.
War has always been a experiment for
inhumane.
Well, it's been an experiment for the elite, and it's an experiment of the psyche of human beings. This the reason they understand us better than we understand them is because they put us to war.
Yeah, we're just rats in a fucking cage, man.
Well, yeah,
Or they
we're the experiment.
Yeah.
With a smoking weed out of a Vietnamese skull.
Oh my
Absolutely.
god, man, that's fucking.
So the point he was trying to make to me is that was 50 years ago. Could you imagine that's what we were 50 years ago? Could you imagine today the shit that we'd be doing if there was conscription going to war with another country?
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Well, this is the thing. You'll never have that kind of conscription again. It's impossible. I mean,
Yeah, it's not possible. There'll be a civil war in America.
They
if that
probably
was to
like
happen.
that shit though. You know, they were probably like they wanted to see weird shit like that because they're twisted and fucked in the head.
no,
Yeah.
but nowadays they can't have that same conscription. Back during the Vietnam War, which was in the 60s, 60s and 70s, they conscripted people by birth date. They drew a lottery. So if you were born on a certain day, they rolled a ball like a lottery. They plucked it out and said, if you were born on January 27th, you're going to war. Good luck, motherfucker.
Right.
And it
Usually
worked.
poor. Usually it was usually poor people that got sucked into going to Vietnam.
Yeah.
Usually from the South, because the people Americans that are from the South are usually the best fighters in America. But again, you know, look, we can cover. I got great stories about the Vietnam War and the shit that went on there. But again, you can't do it.
Yeah.
And
Go to the next.
and furthermore, would you say go to the next?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll go back to that in a little bit. Okay. Oh, number 7, compulsory psychological treatment for non-government workers or public school children. So social workers in schools and your human resources.
Yeah.
HR departments. What's an HR department? AM, what is HR, man? What is that?
HR is ground zero for distributing your fucking political beliefs.
Right. It's the propaganda. In the Soviet Union. Now, did you see the movie Hunt for the Red October?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay, do you remember Tim Curry's no, Tim Curry was the doctor. Do you remember who Sean Connery killed at the beginning of the movie on the ship?
No. I haven't seen it in a while.
Okay, he killed the commissar. Who's the commissar for the Soviet Union? He's the human resources guy.
Yeah.
He's the political officer.
Yes.
The human resources department are now the political officers in large businesses and corporations.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. Human resources. You're treating human as capital. Make sure
Yes.
you go along with this agenda. Don't talk to that female coworker, so on and so forth, because of the litigation, the rules, and everything put forth in front of you.
Well, I understood that the concept of human resources is exactly the method to get into any institution. It doesn't matter if it's education. It doesn't matter if it's business. It doesn't matter if it's politics.
All right, but there was no, so if you go back to when you were a child or when you were born, there was no human resources department and there was no degree in human resources.
Yes, it never existed. Yeah.
Right. So what has human resources translated to? They are now the political arm inside corporations.
Exactly. That's the whole point. It's like that entire resource itself was invented for the sole purpose of making sure that a certain ideology is injected into your business, into your education, into whatever it is that needs something. It needs some kind of structure to exist. And I've seen it my entire life growing up. It didn't matter what business I was in, as long as there was human resources. And in fact, I remember I did a video years ago on a study done from an Israeli university, and they did a study on how human resources affects what happens in that business.
Wow.
Here's what they found. Human resources are generally governed by women.
Yeah.
It is women that are generally in the place of governing a department of human resources.
Mm-hmm.
And women often tend to hire, if you have a front of human resources for your business and it's governed by women, and they are given the power, if they're given the authority to hire who may come through that door, then 90% of the time they're going to hire males, and they hire males they think are attractive.
Yep.
And that's who you put in human resources. And so that's why a lot of women aren't getting into big business and big companies.
Now you say that, when Christmas dinner with my cousins and stuff, one of my cousins, it's my cousin's husband. He runs some type of very large corporation, carpets, and he told me that the higher ups have said, do not hire any more women.
Yes.
Stop hiring women altogether.
Yeah. And the reason that women are getting, okay, look, when it comes to human resources, if human resources are populated by women, for the most part, if you go into any company and you open up the door to human resources, guess who's sitting behind the desk? A woman. It's usually a woman.
I don't know why. Christina.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, this is something that should be looked up. I mean, people should look into this. Why have human resources been populated by women for the most part? Why? Look into it.
It's because it's the only thing they can do. It's not like they're going to be, with a pickaxe on a side of a fucking road, or pouring tar on a rooftop. They're going to do whatever is easy. Something that doesn't require that much manual labor.
Exactly, and that's what we have. That's what we see. And it's funny because with the study that I saw, this Israeli study that I read about and I made a video about, was that human resources hire attractive men. They don't hire women. So putting women in human resources is a pariah to women wanting to move up within the corporate system, because women in human resources won't hire other women because it's competition to them. See, if an attractive man, an attractive woman comes through human resources to a certain company, the woman is more likely to hire the man than the woman, because the woman is considered what? What is she?
What? I don't know. What?
Well, she's obviously competition. If you're an ugly, ugly man or just a woman, you're not going to get through human resource department in most companies, because most human resources are run by women. Women tend to hire.
I find that to be very racist and
this was a study, a very thorough study, by a department in, what was it? It was from Israel. It was an Israeli university that did this study throughout Europe, throughout a bunch of Western European countries. And their findings, the finishings of their findings said, if you have women in human resource department and HD, they're going to hire more attractive men, and women are going to get shot out the door. And the end of their findings was this: because women tend to hire attractive men, and they don't hire women who might be a competition to them when it comes to.
I agree with that, but you can also make the same argument for why guys won't hire other guys and they only want to hire women, right? It goes both ways.
No. It doesn't go both ways, and the statistics don't say that. See, the statistics don't say that. The statistics say that women, on average, will hire attractive men and throw women to the door.
Yeah, but that's because women are catty. They backstab each other. This is why women don't unionize, because they hate each other. Men tend to work more as a collective, and they tend to work together to achieve something better. Women will just fuck her. She's a bitch. She's sleeping with the guy. There's a lot of drama involved when you bring women into the workforce.
Absolutely, and this was the whole Israeli study that I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
What they found was, look, if you want more diversity in your department, in your business, don't hire women in HR. That's it. That was the result of the entire study. From thousands of
Well, more of a reason not to let women into the workplace.
Period.
All you're doing is they gotta leave the workforce. We had this conversation that you're depleting your women, you're depleting the eggs and the child barriers of your civilization by throwing them in the workforce. You gotta go to college. Well, you gotta go to college, little Brittany. Well, these are the best years of her life to go and find someone to settle down with. When she's 30, the guys are like, I don't want no fucking crusty old eggs.
Well, the thing is, man, is that if you hire, if look, well, the point I was making is that human resource, the HR department, is the in and out of any company or business. So if you want to control that business or company, you control the HR department.
Yeah.
Bottom line. And this is how they did it. They put women in HR, and women can't do anything else within the company, so throw them in HR. So most people are just like, oh yeah, we gave them a job. We're being diverse. We put all these women in HR, and they got a job.
Look, women are dominating the workforce, though, in America, dominating across the board because they're not getting married and they're not having children, and that So this is what's happening in most industries in America. Furthermore, it's pushed harder and harder to hire more women. So maybe on a smaller scale, on a smaller business model, yeah, they're not hiring women. But if we're dealing with these multinational, again, the fascism, corporatism, bankism, more and more women are appearing in the workforce.
No. Look, there's very few women in those positions, in the high up positions in companies.
Oh, absolutely. It's dominated by males, but across the board underneath it's mostly women. And furthermore, the more the men is, the less manufacturing base, the less men's strength is needed in the workforce, and you're now regulated to businesses, a service industry or economy based on just service goods. You don't need men, and this is what's happening with a lot of guys, college educated or guys who didn't go to college. You're just not needed. So women are now taking these positions. Teaching, for example, we use teaching as a good example. Real estate, dude, I'm in real estate. It's nothing but women. I haven't seen one fucking guy.
Teaching in real estate is all women.
All women. And so who's hiring men? Department of Transportation. Why? Because he's got to be outside in the cold and he's got to fix guardrails and shit. Those jobs women aren't really going to do. And if there are women in the Department of Transportation, they're holding the stop and go sign for traffic. They're not actually doing any of the hard work.
There are jobs that women won't do because of their physiological abilities and their psychology. Like, women aren't going to fucking stand out in the cold for 12 hours a day to earn.
Right. They're not going to drive a truck, really.
No, they don't want to do it. They just don't want to do it. It's not.
They don't want to do it.
They're not going to be iron workers. That's for fucking sure.
Exactly. But the propaganda and the narrative is you can do it. You can be an iron worker. You have to hire this iron worker now. HR. What's the quota on how many women are iron workers? Okay, find that lesbian butch dyke who's not going to procreate, who has disposable income. Hire her.
Yeah. But this is the funny thing, man. It's like, yes, that ideology, that political ideology of diversity of the sexes, it exists, but it's not going to affect the ironworkers industry. It's not going to affect the industry of people that are driving with a Class 5 license. It's not going to affect them, man.
Or concrete workers.
Workers. It's not going to affect them. Guess
hey,
where?
Hey! We need quotas now. I want the transgender now. I want one transgender. I need an atheist, black, butch, lesbian.
Never going to get done. You're never going to get done.
Well, that's where we are. That's why we're $17 trillion in debt because of this fucking insanity.
Yeah,
there's no efficiency anymore.
There's no efficiency. But there's this thing that guess where it does. You never thought about this. Guess where you can manipulate those numbers? The arts. And that includes psychology and psychiatry, the arts. That's
Really?
where you can. Oh, yeah, that's where you can, because women can compete with
Yeah,
men.
yeah. I see what you're saying.
I-
I
in
don't
those,
consider that arts, but
but
sure, whatever.
psychology, psychiatry, they're considered
What's
the
an art?
they're arts of science. They're
Right.
not math.
But these are luxury things for a first world nation, and
Yes.
again, we're past the point. We're way past that point where we can afford such things. Hey, are there psychologists in Cambodia? No, because they don't really have the money or the resources, or they really truly give a
Who
fuck
needs to
about
be a
these type of
psychologist?
concepts.
Yeah, like, it's like when I'm back in
I have
Indonesia, it's like,
yeah, go on.
do I
Yeah,
need do we need psychologists here? No, we need farmers.
no.
That's what we need. Like, who gives a
And they're
fuck
too
about it?
busy. They're too busy preoccupied to worry to be self-reflecting. If they,
Yeah,
I was traumatized.
yeah,
My father slammed the door on me, and I'm
yeah,
so heartbroken.
yeah.
They don't have time for this
Yeah,
shit in
you know,
Indonesia.
there's no women, or there's no young women or men in Indonesian that have gone through like, oh my god, I feel so horrible. I think I'm a man. I'm
Yeah,
not a woman.
right.
No, you
Hey,
find
you need to listen, AM. You need to go and find yourself. Go and find yourself, right? Tell that to a Cambodian. He said, "What the
yeah.
fuck you mean find
What are you
myself? I'm
talking about,
standing
man?
here on the ground, all right? My father's a rice farmer. I'm
Yeah,
attending this shitty fucking school, and I got this bozo fucking expat teacher telling me about going to find myself,
yeah, yeah. Can you
right?
imagine? Why don't you go pick up an instrument and play it and become, part of yourself? You're like, what the fuck, man?
Right.
My family's
Well,
starving.
right, and it's funny. I think T. Kelly had a show about this. That this whole thing, like hot yoga and going to the gym and playing the guitar and going fishing.
Yeah,
Right. This is you having so much free time. You're not going to be an expert sports fisherman. You're not going to be Bono and U2, and you doing hot yoga because you're not
yeah,
going to be an expert in hot yoga, and you're not going to be an author. You're just killing time. Whereas
yeah.
people in third world countries and in Africa, they're too busy surviving.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, man.
Hmm.
It's
So again, with all this free time comes, idle hands are the work of the devil. Now half your women population are miserable because they have everything already, and they hate life because they have everything. Now they're hooked on prescription pills.
Yeah, that's
And
so
guy
true.
and guys go MGTOW, where we're porn addicted hermits and fucking watching Molyneux videos.
okay. Go to the next number. The next number.
Number 8, an official declaration. I'm sorry, an official declaration that anti-communist organizations are subversive and subsequent legal action taken to suppress them, which would be us,
Yes, that would be it.
right? And is that happening?
Yeah,
Yes, it is.
it's pretty sad, actually.
So now we're up to number 8, and this list is getting pretty shitty. Am I right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Can
Yeah.
you elaborate a bit on number 8 there?
An official declaration that anti-communist organizations are subversive and subsequent to legal action to suppress them. So Jordan Peterson,
yeah. Basically, if you're against communism, then you're bad.
Oh, okay.
That's
a
Canada in a nutshell.
right.
Canada.
So again, we can lump cultural Marxism into number 8. So
Yeah.
if you're against cultural Marxism and you stand for what's right and wrong, that's number 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we can agree that number 8 is happening. Okay, number
Yes.
9, laws limiting the number of people allowed to meet in a private home.
Ooh.
What? That's an actual law?
No. These are the 14 sign points of slavery. Now, I do know of one country where this is a law. Am, do you know where it is?
No. Where?
Singapore.
Russia.
Singapore. Not surprising.
And guess what? Singapore is what? A dictatorship.
Oh yeah, Singapore is a piece of
Damn.
shit.
So I don't know. I would assume if I were to have 100 people in my house, I would assume the cops may knock on the door asking what is going on.
But the state gets
Right.
involved and tells you how many people you can have in your house.
Well, I don't know. I should know this as being in real estate. I don't know what the rule is as far as how many people you are allowed in a house because of the fire zone regulations. But again, now the question is, why would they put a limit on the amount of people inside a home? And I know in Singapore, it's because if you're not conspiring with 100 people to do something.
Yeah.
Partying or what?
No,
Hey,
conspire.
we're just having a party. It's BYOB, and we're talking about overthrowing the government. So that's the idea behind number 9. So I don't think we're there with number 9. From what, and we'll look into that. We'll look into
That's
that.
a good thing, I guess.
Have you been to Singapore?
No, I flew in there. I just did the airport. That was it.
I spend a nightmarish amount of time in that fucking city country, man. And
everyone seems to love it.
It's fucking horrible.
Doesn't
I
seem
mean,
like a place
I've
I
spent
would-
a nightmarish amount of time. I mean, I'm not talking about like this, oh, come in and go do some tourist things and leave. No, I spent nightmarish amount of times in that city state, and it is fucking horrible.
What, it's just consumerism, fashion shops, and banks.
Absolutely.
Well, you can't even.
That's
can't
kind
even
of what I
spit,
assumed it was.
You have to walk around with a cup so you can spit in it. Or
You
else
got to be
you're
very, very careful. Yeah, I mean, I got stuck in that country. Because I had 5 months left on my passport, and they were like, "Nah, you can't leave. We're keeping you here." And I'm like, "What? Like, can I go back to where I came from at least to deal with it?" No, you're stuck here. Go fuck yourself. No, fuck that country. Fuck those people. Fuck
Wow. Sounds fucked up.
Right.
All right.
Okay. So let's move
Let's
on.
move
That's number 9. Number 10. Any significant change in passport regulations to make passports more
There you go.
difficult to obtain.
There you go, man.
Wait, you ready? You're gonna love this one. AM in America, they passed a law. If you owe child support, they will take your passport.
Are you kidding me?
That's Canada too, man. Canada.
Yeah, they just passed that one in America.
Yeah.
And guess who owes child support? Oh, I'm guessing it's men. It ain't
Yeah.
fucking a chick.
Yeah, I know.
There ain't no
So
chicks owing child support that I know of.
I don't know any woman that owes child support.
Nah, there's no woman owing child support. No.
Anyone?
hey, did you pay your taxes? You better have paid your taxes. Take his passport away.
Yeah.
Take it away. Right.
Holy
Okay. So
Christ.
yeah. So number 10 again, we can check that one off. We got that. Definitely not going anywhere if you owe some fucking woman shit. Number 11, wage and price controls, especially in non-wartime situations.
What
Wage
happened?
and price control.
In non-wartime situations.
So your wage is shit when it's not a war, but when there is a war, your wage goes up. Is that what you're saying?
It's price controls and wage controls when there is no war. So right now, is there price and wage controls on goods and services?
There is absolutely.
Okay. Well, we got that one too.
Yeah.
Shit, this is not looking too good, is that,
Oh
man?
man, it's
All
like
right.
what, like 10 out of 14 so far.
No, I think it's more like 12. We're at number 10. Only 2 so far. Have
eight out of 14.
8 out of 14 so far. We're getting there.
That's okay.
Okay. Any kind of compulsory registration with the government of where individuals work.
So say that again. Say it again.
Any kind of registration with the government of where individuals work. So the government knows where you work.
Oh yeah,
normal.
well,
That's normal.
that's fucking. That's
Right.
like.
That's a given.
I was born
That's
in
a
that
given.
shit.
Mhm.
You got to pay into Social Security. Don't you want to pay into Social Security? You have to
Where
pay
do
into
you
Social
work?
Security. Where do
Where
you work?
work?
Do you have proof of your W-2? Do you have proof? Where did you work?
Yeah,
Huh? Well, I was working off the books. That doesn't count as real work. Now you
No.
can't get a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been paying your taxes? Have you been a good little sheeple and pay your taxes to fund the transgender's fucking sex remake sex fucking thing or whatever the fuck it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Don't you care? Don't you care about the
I'm going through
transgenders?
I'm going through that shit trying to come back to this country, man.
Oh, dude, I was trying to get a mortgage, and they're like, "Where's your taxes?" I'm like, "Well, I was out of the country." Well, you can't get a mortgage.
Yeah.
But I have the money. No, I don't care if you had the money. What the fuck does it matter? If 3 years of my life I wasn't doing shit.
No.
What do you care?
Yeah.
No, we care.
No, they
Yeah, you can't buy a
They
house.
care. I was
The
gone for
banks
13
can't.
We don't trust your kind.
No, I was
Yeah,
gone
we
for
don't
13
trust
years.
you.
You know what's funny? I'm a
kind.
Canadian citizen, absent for 13 years. When I came back, Syrians that just came to the country for the first time had more rights than me.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
That
Dude, it's
that
so,
fucking
isn't that
tripped me out,
funny?
man. That
Hey,
tripped me
you
out.
know, you tell him I was in a coma for fucking 13 years. What the fuck is it to you?
Yeah.
Just spit in their face. That's what you do. That's one thing I learned in New York. You just spit right in their fucking face. Oh, what? Just right in their face. Yeah. What the fuck is it to you? Fuck you. All right. You don't get my business then. Take
Yeah,
care.
but they don't care.
Goodbye.
They don't care because they don't have your business. They have 1984's business. They have the government's. They don't give a fuck, man. They don't give a fuck about
Oh,
you. They don't have to care.
on two notes, in regards to we were talking about Social Security, and I did state that you do not actually have to have a Social Security card. Well, can you do anything without having a Social Security card is a big question.
Nothing. You can't do anything.
Right. So, this is what Cryptodamus
That's the first
was.
thing I had to do when I got back. The very first thing I had to do when I got back was what do you call it? Reignite, renew,
Reissue.
reissue my social security number. That's the
Renew,
first
yeah.
thing. They're like,
Right.
you can't do anything. You need to go to this office and reissue your social security because it's all there. It's there. Like until you die, even after you die, it's there.
It's still
You're
there.
a number. You're a number.
Right, and we can go down the track where we might have the RFD chips implanted in us.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to have a
You
chip,
don't have to, man. Your number's
but
there.
how you gonna go get food?
You're already
How
there.
you gonna go? How you gonna get a car? How you gonna do anything without your RFD? Well, you don't have to have the RFD chip, but we're gonna make it really fucking
Yeah.
hard.
Well, you're already
to live
there.
without one. Right.
You're already there. We're already there. You if you don't have that social security number, you don't exist.
Okay.
And I didn't exist in this country for 13 years, and when I came back, they're like, "Oops, he's back. What's his number?
Yeah.
Ooh, don't forget your number. Here it is. Bang!" And I looked at it and I go, "I remember that number."
yeah. Yeah, we all know our number, our
It's fucking
barcode.
Okay.
All
Okay,
right. So
what's,
number 13 is any attempt to restrict freedom of movement within the United States. Now,
Like
okay.
movement.
Now, wait a second. Well, let's wait. Now, under the Patriot Act, what is happening in New York is if I were to take a domestic flight out of New York, they won't let me on the airplane. I have to bring my passport now.
What? For a
That's right.
domestic flight?
For a domestic flight. Now, wait a second. It's been deferred till next year, and they keep deferring it over and over and over, but it is on the books.
Wait.
Whoa.
I have to have a passport to go to the United States now when I never used to.
Yeah,
Oh,
but we don't have. You don't have
that's
to
a different country. That's it. I'm talking.
It's a
I'm
different
talking.
country, but think about it. Think about it though. Just within 7 to 8 years, I used to be able to walk into that country without showing nothing.
They asked for my passport when I went to Montreal, but it was really quick. I didn't have to
When was
really.
that? When was that?
2009.
Not fucking 5 years before that. You wouldn't have to.
Really?
Well,
Yes.
the other thing is in regards to number 13, attempt to restrict within the United States. Well, what about interstate highways? They're going to stop you, right? They're going to make you pay money before you enter their state, right?
Tolls.
I mean, tolls, right? Tolls. And if I can send you the link in regards to where New York citizens. Again, with the domestic flights, you now have to carry a passport with you to leave the flight. Because apparently the driver's license of New York do not comply with the Patriot Act.
So that means there's so many terrorists in America now that you have to have a passport to just travel within America.
It's only for New York State. I don't know if it's mandatory for any other states, but it is a good example. So again, we can this 13 is a wishy-washy Yes, we can say that 13 doesn't really apply. And again, they're trying to get rid of states. Again, we're trying to come under one federal power.
Yeah, it's one. It's not one federal. It goes beyond that, and that's what they're pushing for, and that's what they have been pushing for. Everybody knows it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's trying to deny it, but that's what they're pushing for. That's why now, when we were kids, you and me, we would go to the United States without a passport. Easy, just drive across, come back, no problem. Now you can't, and it will never go back. It will never go back to what it was before. Now you need that passport, and eventually that will. And I think in the United States that will eventually try to push towards state by state travel. They have to minimize travel. They can't minimize guns. You can't. You can't do it. Guns is money. Profit. Guns is profit. You can't take away people's guns. They don't want to take away people's guns. What they want
and then it goes back to what you're saying. It's all a fucking game anyway. Like, they obviously don't give a shit because they own all the money and everything like that. So like traveling, they're just trying to, like, it's not about money. It's about it's about control. It's about control. Yeah.
But it's don't ever say it's never about money. It's always about money. There's always money. They're not going to give up on money. Yeah, of course not. They're not going to go, oh, we could make money, but we won't. No, of course they're going to make money. Always they're going to make money.
But wouldn't you make more money if you're just like, yeah, you're Canadian, come to the States and spend all your money in the States?
Not in the least. Because you're going to come to the States and we're going to charge you to come here. They're going to
But they don't charge you. You just got to fucking have a passport and shit. And then they search you and all that, and for bombs and whatever. But like,
you don't think they make a profit off of
searching for bombs?
The industry of just fucking searching people?
Well,
whoa. Now we're talking about something that I know quite a bit about. Now, I think the second Secretary of Department of Homeland Security, who had a dual citizenship to Israel, he was the Secretary of Department of Homeland Security. I have his name written down somewhere. The name has slipped my mind, but he implemented the those body scanners that give you like fucking cancer.
Right.
He was a lobbyist for the company that made those.
Really, eh? Yeah, I see.
So he made money.
I see those in every fucking.
They make money. Every move they make through the ability to keep you in one place and to keep you structured through moving to another place. They make money off of that.
Yeah.
In every aspect, whether it be a scanner, whether it be a piece of ID they have to make. They make money. They profit.
Michael Chernoff is his name. Michael Chernoff, second Secretary of Homeland Security. He was a lobbyist for body scanners of the after the underwear bomber.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god!
It's always for profit, man.
He also was the head of the Department of Justice for New Jersey from 2001 to 2003, where he let 5 suspects of 9/11 off the hook with minor visa violations.
Yeah.
What?
It's always for profit.
Michael Chernoff, everybody.
So they're making profit, and at the same time they're
enslaving you.
Enslaving.
Yeah. They're not going to enslave you for free.
No.
They gotta get a cut.
You think they're gonna enslave you for free? Like, let's just enslave everybody for free.
That contradicts the whole fucking idea of enslavement.
Yeah, it's on us. We'll just.
And again, isn't that a restriction of freedom from movement within the United States in itself?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Slavery is profit, man.
And let's go. Last one is number 14. Okay. Any attempt to make new major law by executive orders.
Mm.
And as Bill Clinton says, a stroke of the pen, law of the land.
Yeah.
When he made executive orders.
Yeah.
Mm.
And we can see, and we'll look under Trump. executive order here. Hey, another executive fucking order. Hey,
Yeah.
we'll do another executive order. You know what I mean? Hey. So again, Republicans who bitch and moan about Obama's executive orders, but when Trump does it, oh well, if it's fire versus fire, it's dog eat dog. If they do it, then we have to do it too.
Well,
Right? That's the argument.
Yeah, yeah.
They're all fucked, man.
They say jump, you say how high, right?
Well, it's not only that. It's double. It's not double speak.
Hold on,
It's a contradiction. You bitch about Obama doing it, but when your guy does it, it's okay. Well, wait a second. That's not fair. That's not right.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let me look at the comments here. Settle down, Lamp. All right, cabin boy. Bob Joe, Lamprey, how long do you think we have to get out? I know you are a young guy too. I'm only 25. I keep thinking that it's a race against the clock to save money and get out of the USA. Well, Bob, the issue is where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? That's number one, because the rest of the world fucking sucks. And right. And the other issue is you're relatively young. You have to stay here and fight. Don't take yourself out of the equation and be a bitch. You're in this with us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So by you taking yourself out of the equation, it doesn't work. And no matter what, you're going to have to go back to where you came from.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
right?
true. Yeah, no, I agree. Don't run away from your problems, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
leaving the USA is not going to solve anything. It's not.
No.
I tried it myself. I'm like, you know what? I can't stay here because I'm losing years off my life living in a third world shithole. And there's no rules of law. You're a foreigner. There's no laws for you. Good luck getting an attorney in Vietnam. Let me know how that works out.
Oh my God. Yeah, you're on your own out there, man. It's fucking.
Yeah, it's not. It's not paradise. It's really not.
Well, naturally, like, it's jungle and it's hot and it's nice beaches and that's paradise. But I mean, that's just sort of like, covering it all up.
Aesthetics, yeah, it's aesthetics.
Exactly, it's covering it up in a sweet little.
It up. Right. So all these guys, I discussed this on the last. The last episode about all these MGTOW guys talking about the glories of Thailand. Well, Thailand's under a military dictatorship and they worship a king. Wasn't really that comfortable with the whole king concept. The glories of our king. Oh, he's so wonderful. Let us pray to our king. Oh, dude, what the fuck? Fuck that shit. Fuck you, fucking king.
Yeah, fuck kings, man.
Yeah, and mind you, that king also had the biggest net worth of any royalty in the entire world, and you want to worship him? Okay, right. Let me get on that.
If you're there, you're gonna have to deal with whatever backlash comes from that concept. And that's the thing about being an expatriate is you're gonna have to deal with whatever
third world problems.
Yeah, whatever third world problems are there. I mean, there's great advantages. There's a cheap.
So the civil liberties were very nice. I will say that, but there is ramifications for that.
You can live like a king for a month with $1,000 American, but
as long as you have a steady income, you can live like a king for the rest of your life if you want.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? But that's like running away from the problems that
no, it ain't running away from nothing.
Kind of fucking is, man. Like, because what are you doing? You're just fucking. What are you doing? You're just banging chicks and.
Right, you're just being a debaucherous loser. And mind you, the people that live in those countries are, in fact, the 90% of them are losers and washed up from their own countries.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that, man. You're not.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, in the long run, it is like that.
Well,
MGTOW Thailand.
No. Look, the thing is you got to be smart about it. You got to know it.
Yeah,
you got to understand what you're getting into.
You got to be smart about everything.
And most of these guys that jump abroad, it usually ends pretty shitty for them. A lot of them.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, I would even say like about 35% of people that choose the expatriate lifestyle, they end up dead.
Yeah,
A
of
lot of
course,
them.
because
Damn
because
dead.
in the long run, nobody gives a shit about you out there, man.
No,
Right.
Yeah, you know what I
Let me
mean?
tell you what happens if you die in Cambodia. They take a bunch of pictures of your dead body and gets posted on the front cover of the paper with your fucking you shitting your pants on a fucking guest house floor.
That's if they find your body. That's if they find your body.
Yeah, that's if it's not dismembered and
Usually they don't. Usually what happens is you just end up dead and you disappear. And actually that was something I wanted to address on my MGTOW channel, is about disappeared.
Ah, my bad. I did it again.
Is that your car?
No, I tried going outside.
Oh my god, that's a house alarm?
Yep, I'm right on top of it too. God damn it.
Must be a pretty fucking aggressive area.
Sorry.
Well, you gotta keep the niggers out, man.
I do. I gotta keep black people out of my neighborhood. Important.
Wow, man, because otherwise they're fucking
Yeah, man.
So my apologies. So again, the 14 signs points of slavery. I think we can agree that we're in a lot of trouble with that, with these 14 sign points.
No, we're absolutely in a lot of trouble, man. I would like to ask you to tell me 2 or 3 of those points you think are the most pertinent.
I think the IRS, the concept with the IRS is pretty frightening. There's no oversight with the IRS, and furthermore, when Obama was in office, the IRS was targeting anti-communist groups, conservative, and she said, and the woman, I forgot, Lois Lerner, I think her name was. I plead the fifth. No, Lois Lerner was the woman who was in charge of the IRS, and she said, I plead the fifth. I didn't do anything wrong. And pleading the fifth means you don't have to give a statement in front of the court.
Weird. And she got away with it.
Yes, she did.
Surprising. I'm surprised.
So this is venturing into a topic I wanted to discuss with you guys about the whole bootlicking of the police.
Yes.
And how much
police. That's where we're gonna go.
I find it very disturbing. All this came out of the whole Ferguson rioting, during the whole thing about. Sorry, I want to make sure no one's locking me out of the house now. All right, sorry.
You just on your phone or what?
They are locking me out.
I know. You got are you doing this over your phone?
I'm trying to have a cigarette, and they keep setting the alarm on me. God damn it, man.
They got the no smoking laws out there too, eh?
Like no, I'm outside talking to you guys. I'm smoking a cigarette. It's Saturday night, and they just, again, I'm living in a house with a bunch of people, and it's like Fort Knox in this house.
Like, apparently it is. And alarms and shit, bells and fucking whistles.
Okay, so anyway, what in the United States, there are these little decal stickers and flags of a black, white, gray, and blue American flag representing Blue Lives Matter. Support your police. Support your troops. Right? This all started during the whole rioting, I guess from 2 or 3 years ago, where Black Lives Matter came about. So the anti Black Lives Matter is Blue Lives Matter.
What? Are you kidding me?
Well, Black Lives Matter is total bullshit.
Well, that was already a few years ago. No, that was only like last year.
Yeah, I think it's like 2 or 3 years ago now, right?
Yeah, well,
oh my god.
Been at least 3 years for sure.
Right.
Really?
So,
Black Lives Matter? Fuck, I didn't know that.
Right. Yeah. So what came out of this is, okay, Black Lives Matter. Again, what has happened with white suburban Americans is that the cops are there to protect you from who? Black people. When in fact, when black people are trying to, in a way, and they have tried to tell white Americans, hey, look, this isn't about race. This is about police brutality overstepping the law.
Well, they're not wrong. You have to admit they're not wrong. I mean, look, in your own community, most of the violence comes from black people. So not being racist, but that's just the fact.
I agree, but
No,
it's a
that's-
very
No. That's not the whole truth, man. The fucking truth is violence comes from uneducated people.
Yeah, and most of
Guess
them
who
are
are the most uneducated? Natives, black, Mexican.
actually
colored
the natives in Canada aren't that violent. We're talking about America. If you talk about America,
well.
the
Okay,
most
but again,
violent
we're
are
talking about
blacks.
right.
Yeah.
But again, it's African Americans between the ages of 15 to like 30,
Yes,
which is like 2% of the fucking U.S. population.
yes,
Now,
but they're
granted, they're committing the most.
violent.
They are committing the most crime, but again, because
Well, look
because
where they
whites
grow
are
up, man. They're not growing up in fucking, what's it, Bel Air. You know,
right.
it's not like Will
Right.
Smith here. We're talking about fucking.
Okay, hold
Ghetto
on there, Joseph Stalin. Hold on, Joseph Stalin. The problem is still has to do with a group of people who are out of proportionately violent, and they are blacks. Regardless of where they come from, they are blacks.
Right. But you put any white guy in the fucking ghetto, and they're gonna be just as fucking
But
violent.
there's
You know
not
what I
white
mean?
guys. But wait, we're living in reality, not some speculative fiction.
But
Reality.
yeah, it's sure. But that reality is reality. They're people are people, man. Put any fucking Chinese,
and
black,
it's the blacks.
whatever, anybody into that.
And the blacks are the impoverished and violent. So
Exactly.
what's the problem about these blacks?
That they're uneducated
Mhm.
and that they don't have a proper fucking upbringing.
So
in
are we?
life.
So are we going to excuse them for their violence? We're going to say,
No, of course not.
so
Of course not. We got to get to the root of the problem. Which
exactly.
the root of the problem is that
What's the solution to the problem? Stop arresting them.
no, that's not a fucking
Okay,
solution.
good. So let's arrest these fucking black criminals.
Yeah, and then be like, okay,
Let's
all
put
these
them in
black guys.
jail,
Yeah,
and let's stop saying that Black Lives Matter because that's bullshit.
well, what I was talking about had nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. I think that's complete bullshit and propaganda. Fuck that shit. Fuck Black Lives Matter. That's stupid.
Okay,
What
but
I'm
now
saying-
the opposite end of the spectrum is police lives matter, blue lives matter.
Well, that's just adding to the bullshit. There's more. Bullshit
this
on
is what
top
there's a difference though. Okay, what's the police? The police represent what?
of that.
Well, they represent the
Protection.
force, the policing force, the force.
Who controls them?
Fuck.
Well, the
government.
fucking Illuminati
The
control.
government. Oh, man, are you going to Illuminati talk? The state controls them.
Yeah,
right?
man. They're all
So-
fucking.
So if they're enforcing laws that we don't abide to, this whole concept of blue lives matter, the guns are going to get turned on the people.
Right.
And they just happen to be getting turned on the blacks.
right.
Well,
So
again,
it's all-
white people are being Trojan horsed. They're letting the Trojan horse into their own communities by saying blue lives matter, when in fact blue lives matter, they don't really see race. Their job is to enforce the law. Now,
Well,
what I told you,
statistically, more white people get killed by cops than blacks.
of course,
But that's only because there's more white people in the United States than there
I
are
understand
blacks.
that. But now let's go what just happened today in Kansas, where a child, not a kid, he's 25 years old. He gets gunned down by the SWAT team because of a prank phone call.
Right.
Okay,
That's
stop resisting arrest. Now you ready for what happened to me? I've been arrested. The cops stole my shoes.
What?
Well, they do that. Yeah, that's what.
Why did they steal
That's
your
what
shoes?
that's what they're supposed to do.
They're supposed to steal your shoes.
Yes. Yes.
Why?
Your shoes are
I
evidence.
don't get it. I don't get.
I didn't get my
don't
shoes
why.
back.
Your shoes are evidence. They're
Steal your
evidence
foot size or like. Oh,
your foot
footprint.
size and footprints. Everywhere you've been is a part of your shoes. They steal your shoes because they're evidence. They keep them and they will not give them back.
Right. So they took. Now, who am I supposed to complain? Who am I supposed to complain to get my shoes back?
You can't. It's
I
part of the
can't.
law.
Well, this is part of the law. So there's a problem.
Mm-hmm. That's a
Okay.
big problem.
That the cops can do whatever they run amok. Now, I don't know what the cops are like in Indonesia, but I can tell you in Cambodia, they're complete animals. They act as a mafia.
Are you kidding me? In Indonesia, if they don't like the way you look, they'll fucking shoot you in the head and walk away, and then just put you in the next hole in the ground. They don't give a fuck. They have complete power, man.
Right, but you're running to the state for help.
Yes.
Because you're afraid of black people.
Mm-hmm.
You see how this works?
Absolutely, man. In most third world countries, the police are an extension of the state, where they are really above the law. Like if you're in Cambodia or Indonesia and the cops really don't like what you're doing, they can put a bullet in your head and throw you in a ditch, and that's the end of the story.
And what's the difference between them and Americans?
Very little. Very little.
Right. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
So you running with the look. If you have that Blue Lives Matter decal on your sticker, the cop's not going to give a shit.
No.
You know what?
But I'm one of you. I support you. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I'm going to shoot you anyway.
Here's a prime example. You can't drive with a cell phone or talking on a cell phone, right? You get a ticket if you drive with talking on a cell phone. That's, I don't know if that's in the States, but that's in Canada.
Yeah, the same. Yeah.
However, fucking cops drive around with laptops on their fucking computers. You know what I mean? They're like on a computer driving, but you can't drive on with a cell phone. No, drive with a laptop. But then you know what I mean? They give you a ticket while you're at a red light. I'm sitting at a red light texting. Cop gives you a ticket. He's on a fucking laptop. How does that make sense, huh?
No, they're always one step above the law. They have to be.
But that's just like a small little example of how like it's all the same. Like, you know, Cambodia, yeah, they can just cap you in the head and that's it. And end of story.
Well, and this is and the good thing about a place like Cambodia is you can drive while talking on your laptop and they won't give a shit. The only time they're going to cap you in the head is if you piss them off.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Then they'll cap you in the head. But you can drink and drive. You can fucking run through a crowd of fucking people drunk.
But so it's the same, but
they don't
different.
fucking care. They don't fucking care. That's what I mean. There's differences.
Yeah. Difference, but sort of the same in a way.
Well,
Right.
here,
You know what I mean?
yeah, here you can get arrested for texting. I mean, you can get a ticket for texting while driving. But the cops, I've been in the back of a cop car and watched them, like actually, play on a laptop and call at the same time while they're driving.
Yeah.
And go like, what? Really?
And they're busting your ass just for text.
And you can get away with that. Now in Indonesia, you can talk, text, drink. You can drink and drive. You can fuck your wife. You can beat up your wife while you're driving down the street. You do it, and they won't care. They'll be just like, "Hey, good for you.
Give me $50, and we'll let you go."
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Well, so either way, the cops are corrupt as shit. You know.
Right. That's kind of what I was trying to get at. And mind you, most of these cops never get indicted. They get paid leave when they're done shooting up people, and they get a slap on the wrist and they go right back on the road.
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest problem with what you're saying, Nick, is turning it into a race thing, and that's where
that's what's happened. That's exactly what has happened. Where Eric Gardner's mother and a few other mothers of black people getting gunned down is that they've interviewed them and said, look, this is not a race issue. This is about police brutality, and white people don't want to hear it because they think the police are going to save them from this big scary black man.
Well, the same thing at the same time, I'm sick and tired of hearing black people go, we need to set up a fund for my son who fucking robbed a bank but got shot while doing it. Man. Like we have to separate. Yeah, I mean, we have to separate. We need to see the difference between. Yeah, exactly. But a lot of what we see about like the concept of like racist concepts of black on or cops on black is bullshit, because blacks do commit most of the violent crimes in
I know it's
America.
bullshit.
I don't want to veer too off on the whole concept with with the Black Lives Matter and then the blacks shooting and killing and being buffoons. I don't want to hawk on that. What I'm trying to get, I'll give you a good example. The point I'm trying to make. We have a problem with El Salvadorian gangs in New York. There's really not that much of a problem, but the media is hyping this, that the El Salvadorians are killing people and, causing a ruckus in the community where I live, when in fact MS-13 has been in New York for like the past 20 something years, and they tend to just kill each other. They don't attack.
Like the Indians here. It's like the Indians.
Right. They just keep it amongst themselves, and there's reasons why they do that, but I'm not going to get into that. Why they kill their own. So there's a problem with MS-13 gangs. Now, under Obama imported a bunch of illegal immigrants from Honduras and El Salvador, the two most violent countries in the entire fucking world. Oh, good. Bring them all in. Okay, great. Thank you, Obama. It's wonderful. Now, they brought them to New York because it's a progressive state.
You missed the Colombians, man. You should have brought the Colombians at the same time.
Well, Colombians are actually much more civilized and they have more money. But again, you bring them into the state of New York. Okay, you don't keep them in Texas or California. No, bring them as far north as possible, and you know what? Stick them in the most conservative location in New York. That's brilliant. Thank you, Obama. That's really great of you.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Great idea.
So you bring the El Salvadorian gangs into New York. Now you bring them into New York where the police get paid a lot of money and it's also a very safe location. Well, you have to justify their police budget now, right? Because they're getting paid so much money. So you bring them into New York and you now have a problem. Oh, look, MS-13's killing people. We need more overtime. We need M4 rifles with red dot and red dot scopes and what have you, and grenade launchers because MS-13's here.
Really? Eh? They have that.
I'm exaggerating, but of course now they have SWAT team equipment, right? Now they have
they're all heavy duty, man.
They're carrying heavy weaponry into a very modest, peaceful neighborhood. So it's a problem, action, solution. You've imported the problem. The action is now having more police, and that's the solution. And the solution is having more security, more police, more armed guards, more cameras. And again, it's a form of enslavement by importing this problem. Same thing with bringing Muslims into America. Well, you just bombed their country, and now you're bringing them into the country that bombed them.
It makes no fucking sense. It makes absolutely no sense.
Think about it. That's like saying during World War II, we're going to war with Japan. There's a bunch of Japanese men that don't really want to fight. Bring them into America.
You know what they did? Actually? You know what they actually did in World War II? They put them in concentration camps.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Hey, you can't be doing that. That now you're reminding people of the Holocaust. You can't have that.
Oh, but today,
don't tell anybody.
Today we go to war with Islamic countries and we bring their citizens into our countries and let them fucking run amok. Do whatever you want. But in the past, when we went to war with Japan, both Canada and the United States said, "Whoa, wait a second. We got Japanese people here in our country. I think it's a good idea to kind of put them away until this thing is resolved." And they did it.
Here, American Rebel, MS-13 is a problem in the whole East Coast. Again, how did MS-13 get here? Well, Obama brought them in. He brought even more of it. They were already here to begin with, but now you brought even more into the United States.
Absolutely.
To justify the police. Who's the police? Okay. The state.
Well, Canada and America can both say in their history that during the Second World War, when after Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, as history says, let's not believe history 100%, but as it says, Japan bombed Pearl Harbor. At that moment, every Japanese citizen in Canada and the United States was put into a camp and behind closed doors so that they could not do anything that they might have the power to do as free citizens in the country before the bombing happened. Now, today we call that horrible and racist. And actually, I think we give money to Japanese in Canada for that. Horrible. Horrible.
That's hysterical. Do you give it to
Idea.
the Germans and the Italians that were also in camps?
Nah. But at the same time now, our prime minister gives $10.5 million to a jihadist who was in Guantanamo Bay
Wow.
for trying to kill Americans and Canadians in a war.
Well, do you blame him? He's fucking Castro's son.
Right.
He's Castro. Well, that's what I mean. He's Castro's son. Of course, he would do that.
Yeah, Guantanamo Bay, isn't that in Cuba? So like,
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh.
I think Guantanamo Bay was in Cuba, and Trudeau was just like, yeah, I got a little piece of land over there.
Yeah, my dad had a chunk of land around there.
You wanna build a camp? We'll put it over there.
I'll give you some money.
Yeah. Build a camp. You know about waterboarding? I know how to do that.
I know. My daddy taught me all about that.
My dad taught me how to waterboard.
So again, it's a problem action solution. You import the problem. Okay.
Yeah.
The action is, well, we need to justify police. You love police. You're a bootlicker. And the solution is more security and less civil liberties for you.
Well, you know what? Everything you've been saying since rule number 1 to 14, it all adds up. You know, it's like they create the problem, then they create the solution, and then from that brings what they're trying to fucking push towards, you know, which is globalization, or, you know,
it's enslavement.
Enslavement, exactly.
It's an enslavement.
Sums it up. So that everything you said, it's like they start the problem, they make the solution, then it creates the enslavement that they've all planned out. It's everything. They do the problem, they do the solution. Like every fucking thing they do, you know, they're fucking assholes, man.
Well, and that's the point I was trying to make with the whole Blue Lives Matter. Now we can let's lump feminism into this. Let's bring back a little MGTOW conversation.
It all connects in a full circle. It's simple enough, 3 steps, but yeah, keep going.
So there are numerous cases of domestic violence. Okay. And there are numerous stories about how the cops get called in on a domestic violence, this domestic disturbance, and the cops blowing away the men when it's in fact a woman's problem and it's a woman's fault. Because it's never they're not going to shoot down. They're not going to shoot the woman.
They'll never
shoot a woman, right?
No, ever. No. A man? Oh fuck! They'll fucking
the woman could be standing over a man's corpse alongside his children's, bloodied, and
say he tried to kill me. I just killed him.
I just killed him in self-defense, and they'd be like, okay.
They'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
Do you want any? We'll pay you. We'll give you a lifetime lump sum of money so you can live and deal with all this. So yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
So I want to bring up the story. Let me see where he is. The person's name is Dominic Rollis, who happened to be a Native American, if you're listening in, cabin boy. Right? So there was a domestic disturbance call on this guy who happened to be in his own house. Whether he was supposed to be in that house, I don't know what was going on, but he was going through a divorce. The wife was in the house, but the house was in his name.
Ooh, now, not a good place to be.
Right. He was a little bit drunk, according to what she said and called on the operator.
He's a little bit drunk.
He's a little bit drunk. He's in the garage. He's in the garage, and he's supposed to be getting his tools out of his garage and leave. God. So he gets the cops call. She calls the cops. The cops break into the garage, and he's working on he's at his workbench. He was carving his name into his workbench. Okay. And he was making a point to the cops. I belong here. You don't have the right to be in my house. This is my house. Now they're taking her word and saying that he's not supposed to be in the house. There's no proof of that. They don't know what's going on. They don't know what the rules or what the stipulations are as far as going through the divorce and whose house and who's getting custody of what and what have you. He takes a ballpoint hammer, which is a tiny little hammer to put pictures up, hang pictures. He grabs it off the shelf and he's holding it like he's gonna throw it at the cops. Mind you, even if he threw it at the cops, it probably would not have really done or
It
really
just
hurt the
bounce
cops.
off their fucking.
It would just bounce
50
off their
layers of armor.
Teflon
Yeah, it's not a
Teflon
threat to
armor.
their life.
Yeah,
Right.
50
He said-
layers of
He,
Teflon
so
armor.
of
And,
course,
and
like,
he's a white man. Let's make that.
no, native.
Okay, he's
native.
not black.
He's not. He's
black.
a cabin boy. He's one of Cabin Boy's people.
Yeah, he's not black.
Hence
Let's put it
why
that
he's
way.
drunk.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
he's telling the cops, I'm not putting this ballpoint hammer down. You don't belong in my house. Cops screaming and yelling, belligerent, get in the fucking ground. Roid headed animals that the police are, and they just blow him away. Blow him away.
Oh,
They have a license to kill, man.
They have a license to kill. The best part is in this video is he dies underneath the American flag holding a small little hammer like he was actually going to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
What?
No. This is my opinion of that. And I sent this to you, Nick. I told you this. It was a part of Conan.
Oh, dude,
Conanic.
I want to talk about that too. I that was awesome what you sent me.
Okay. We're talking about Conanic wisdom. You remember that?
Yeah.
Sounds like something Conan would do, yeah.
No. Conan would have been smarter. He wouldn't have died.
Well, no, he wouldn't have died, but it sounds like he would have fucking.
Conan would have stayed alive.
Yeah.
And this is my point. Like I understand. I mean, you're dealing with complete bullies, right? You're dealing with bullies. You can't fucking try to rationalize that concept. You have to understand. You have to be intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be a warrior. You have to be a barbaric. Civilized man ends at that point. Okay.
So barbaric is intelligent. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, absolutely. Barbarism is intelligence. And that man lost his barbarism at that moment. He tried to be civilized in a moment where barbarism would have allowed him to live to fight another day. Okay? And here I'm going to quote it here. I'll read it from this paragraph. Conan eyed his chains, but did not again attempt to break them. Among the lessons taught by the treacherous, snow-covered crags of the Sumerian mountains was this. When action was not possible, struggle only brought death sooner. Waiting, conserving strength brought the chance of survival. The Sumerian hung in his chains with the patience of a hunting beast, waiting for its prey to come closer.
Nice. That's fucking
Yeah,
awesome,
that's
man.
what. Yeah, that is awesome.
That's great, man.
Now that man,
It's not a
he shouldn't
regular.
have.
Man.
No, but the man that died, he shouldn't have died.
Yeah, no, I shouldn't.
Well,
have died.
again, it goes back to the falling down effect, where he has really nothing else. You're taking his house, you're taking his tools, you're taking his wife. He's being arrested. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But still, man, he lost the barbarism. That's right.
But again, he has nothing else to nothing left to live for. And again, this goes back to the falling down effect, where these guys are just blowing away their spouses, killing their children, and burning their houses down.
Which is why I don't degenerate anything about this man or the decision he made. I do not, because it's desperate. It is very desperate. But I want men to understand, even in desperation, you need to be a barbarian.
A barbarian would have picked up an axe and started swinging at the
No,
cops. No.
no, I just told you. A barbarian would realize that when action is not possible, struggle only brings death sooner. See, a barbarian understands that you strike the blow when it's hot, when the anvil is hot. That's barbarism. Civilization makes men die sooner. There's an intelligence and a wisdom to it. You have to understand. He went out in a blaze of glory, but he didn't have to. You know, Conan says that didn't have to be the end of your story.
All right, but where's the story going to end? It's still going to end with him losing because he's up against the state.
Is it?
Yeah,
we don't know. We don't know. I mean, maybe, but you're still fighting. You're still fighting. It wasn't his time to be a martyr. He didn't have to martyr himself at that time. It was a poor time to be a martyr. And that's Conanic wisdom. Know when to be a martyr and know when not to be a martyr. And the bait, this is it. If action is not possible, struggle, do not struggle. He had no action. There was no action for him. So don't struggle. That's the whole point. Wait until the right time for action. That wasn't the right time for action. Not for him. It wasn't the right time. That's the whole point. Struggle and action has a time, and that was the wrong time. And unfortunately, it cost him his life.
But there are so many cases like this going on, taking place in North America.
Absolutely. There are thousands of cases like this. And this is why I would like to teach this kind of advice to these men. They need to understand this. It's very simple, but very good advice. Your life is more valuable, actually. Your life has value. Even today, in this world, as a man, your life has more value alive than it does dead. Unless you're some kind of fucking holy fixture, which most men are not, your life has more value as you draw breath than it does as a dead man.
Well, I just find it funny with these type of stories, how it's always the woman is constantly the victim, where they'll never reveal the man's motives on why he did the things that led him to killing his family and so on and so forth.
Well, and that's the whole point. I everything I'm saying to you now, I have to say it to you to justify the life of a man. I don't have to say that to you to justify the life of a woman. A woman's life is already justified. I don't need to explain. I don't need to give you these. I don't need to spell out words of wisdom. If you're a woman, I don't need to do that. You're safe. You're preserved. You have nothing to worry about. But as a man, I have to spell out these mechanisms of survival. I have to do it.
All right, I'm not disagreeing with you, but again, I'm saying if you're backed into a corner, you're gonna have to fight back.
Well, at that moment, you choose to live or die.
Well, he chose to die.
He chose to die, and he could have lived. I'm just saying he could have lived if he understood that, and maybe he needed someone to tell him that. He didn't know.
Well, you think it would have been smarter for the cops to be like, "Hey, man, just put it down. Let's talk it out. Let's figure out why you're doing this." Absolutely. No, but again, this goes back to Blue Lives Matter.
But how?
And you have to bootlick.
But you can't. But look, it's not.
The overreaction of the police.
Yeah, okay, they're not the audience. They're not the audience to the wisdom we're trying to spread. The police aren't the audience. They don't give a fuck, man. They don't give a shit. I mean, are you good friends with a police officer? Do you know one?
Yeah, I know.
And you hang out with him every day and talk to him about this
Like,
shit.
often enough. Yeah.
So what does he say?
He calls us citizens.
Okay, so he sees you as somebody different than himself.
That's how the cops view it. Yes, that's
Yes.
right.
And he has to, right? He has to. That's part of his
No,
job.
no, he's not supposed to. He's a public servant.
He's not supposed to say that. But that's what he does. But that's what he's
Well,
taught. He'll never see you as his equal, ever.
it's very dangerous what you're discussing right now.
Yes, but he'll never see you as his equal. You know, I deal with the cops a lot in my business these days. I deal with the police a lot.
Why? Because cabin boy stealing mouthwash
Yes,
again?
absolutely, absolutely.
God
And you know
damn it,
what?
cabin boy.
They don't see you as an equal. I can't, when they come in to my space and they want to talk to me and they want information, they don't talk to me like a normal person. They don't see me as a normal person. They don't see me as an equal. They talk to me like I work for them. That's how they talk to me, and I understand that. It's like that's who you are. Like if I saw you on the street, I would never see you on the street. In fact, I don't see them on the street. It's a different lifestyle. Like these people don't go to the bar and hang out. They're not normal people, man. The people that take on that role of a police
I
officer.
understand that. I understand that.
They're not. They don't, and they choose that lifestyle, man. They choose it. You know. They're not my friend. They're not the kind of guy that I would ask to go for a beer or a woman. I've had female cops. Female cops come in and go, "Oh, I need some information. You got the videotapes? I want to take the videotapes. Yes, okay. I'll take. Should I call you officer? You're kind of attractive. You look pretty hot. Can I hit on you? No, I can't. Because you're above me, man.
I've had those experiences. Definitely.
You can't.
Well,
they're not a part of your life, man. Those people are not a part of your life. And that's what they're designed to be. Try to make it something different. Go ahead. But you can't.
Well, no, the other problem. First one, they're not supposed to call you citizens or separating themselves from you from the general public, right? You're a servant of the public, right? You're supposed to look out for the general welfare of the people, right?
That might be the original idea of the police force,
right.
but it's not today.
That's what I'm trying. That's not today, right?
No.
I agree with that. Furthermore, what you're doing with the police now is you're putting preference, and we discussed this, where if you served in the military, you go to the front of the line to be a police officer. So you've served in a combat role where you're supposed to kill an enemy, a foreigner, right? Now you're bringing that home. So what you've done in Fallujah and what you've done in Vietnam, killing civilians in other countries, eventually the empire from the external by you spreading your, killing people with drones and supplying weapons to ISIS. Eventually that comes home to roost, where they're now calling helicopters on a person who has a DWI.
Yes.
So it comes home to roost. What you've done externally becomes eternalized within its society, where now the police view you as an enemy combatant.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And this is the thing is, like, eventually that kind of power, it has the ability to turn into that. And there's not much you can do about the consequences of that. It's going to happen. It can happen. Anytime you have
it is happening.
It is happening. But you can't not have a police force. You have to have a police force.
I completely agree with that. But let's go back to when times were a little bit more simpler. Let's go back to, let's say, 100 years ago. The cop was someone from within the town.
How about
the town
60 years ago? Not even that long ago.
Right, not even that long ago. So the cop.
Let's go to New York. Let's go to New York City, 1935.
Okay, well, it was mostly Irish people that were cops, mostly Irish.
It was after the Prohibition.
Okay, well, we can get into prohibition. We can talk about in a second, also, that's funny you mentioned that. But let's go with his concept, where the cop is elected by the township, by the people, like a board of people elected the cop. The cop was a member who lived in the town. He knew all the citizens within the town. He knew who were the wild ones. He knew who were the bad guys, and the citizens of the village would oversee the cop and make sure he was doing the right thing. Now you're getting, it's not the same anymore. It's not like the ideas of the sheriff who would be sitting with you at the diner and you can have a small conversation with him, right?
Have a shot of whiskey and whatever, you know?
Right, exactly. Or let's go during the 70s where the cop, if you were caught drinking and driving, the cop would drive you home instead of arresting you and shooting you and ruining your life.
Giving you a DUI and making you take your license away.
Or setting up a checkpoint right around the corner from the bar, and then you losing your license, losing your job, losing your income, losing your life is ruined. The cop has just ruined your life. You ruined your life, and they get off on that they can ruin your life.
And they think they're doing they're doing the right thing. That's the fucked up part.
Do they though? Do they? I wonder.
Well, they're indoctrinated to think that.
Correct, like a Gestapo, like a Nazi.
Yeah, like, what?
Okay. The difference between the cops.
I'm saving lives by ruining your life because you know what I mean? You could have killed somebody while you're drunk and driving, and so I'm gonna fucking fuck your life up.
You use mouthwash, and now your car's impounded and you've lost your license for 2 years. This is fucked up.
Right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Wait a second. Now he brought up prohibition, and I find that funny. He brought up prohibition.
Yeah, I did.
Now, the thing is that now we live in a state of prohibition. What I've just said about the DWI laws. It's funny how the people that lived under prohibition know what it was like to lose that right to drink alcohol. Now, since that generation is dead, they can now implement the same type of laws with DWI laws. Now, if those people were still alive, right, they would know what this is an infringement on your rights because they knew what it was like under prohibition. Same thing goes for the greatest generation during World War II. They understand what the threat of communism was. They know what it was like to actually fight an enemy. Now that those pretty much that generation is almost died off, they can bring in these type of rules again where now communism is back and all these type of progressive ideas come from.
You know what?
Yeah.
I understand that, and the thing is like I understand personally in the modern times, these times, I know that my rights are being taken away every day. I see it. I mean, I'm bullied into following their bullshit every fucking day, and this is being back in this country for a year and a half. That's it. A year and a half I've been back in this country. And I feel like I'm like, wow, like I just can't do anything here. Like I have to follow this law and this law and this law. And my prime minister is a fucking cuck who is a bastard son of a communist leader in Cuba. Oh, this is where I live now. Okay. I get it. No. It's comfortable. You have no choice. I mean, everything you're saying is like, now I have no choice. You're saying it, Nick, like it's something I can have. I have a choice whether or not I can be a part of it, but I don't.
Again, this goes back to the police, though, because you don't have a choice because the cops have guns. And if you try doing something that you feel is morally just,
you're dead.
They'll blow you away. And this is why I fucking hate Blue Lives Matter. And this hypocrisy, the hypocrisy about the police is disgusting.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, as long as they can say Black Lives Matter, let them say Blue Lives Matter because it won't make a fucking shit of a difference to us. Because we're all in the end the same. Do you honestly think that because you and I don't have a very dark tinge to our skin, that a cop's gonna fucking not pull the trigger on us?
No, it wouldn't make a difference.
Would make a fucking difference.
No.
Absolutely. That's my whole point. Like, it doesn't matter, man. Like, we lost.
Wait a minute. Wait.
Right, go
Back
on.
up, back up the train a bit here. So you're talking about prohibition and then like, you know, DUIs or DWIs came in. Like, so are you saying like they're not one and the same? Like,
They
you know
are.
what I mean?
It's the same thing. You're living. Dude. It's first of all, it's an entrapment law. Okay,
Yeah.
you can't have cops right around the corner from a bar, but they do it anyway. And you
Yeah.
trying to fight that? The cops just gonna laugh at you, and the courts are gonna laugh at you because they're all one and the same and working against screw you.
Yeah.
You haven't
That's
even
fucked up,
committed,
man.
You haven't even committed a crime at that point.
No.
Because
No,
the crime,
he's watching you though, because he has nothing better to
Watching.
do. He has nothing better to do because everything's actually relatively safe here. But he's got to make a problem. He's there to ruin your good time. He's a nightmare. The police are nightmares. These people, they've lost their fucking minds. They're not tested for any type of steroid use. Why are they tested for steroids? They're all taking some type of anabolic steroid supplement enhancers. God only knows what they're fucking juicing on. And they're animals. They've lost their fucking minds. These they're power tripping nightmares. I see no difference between the police in third world Cambodia than the ones here.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, the biggest difference, Nick, is that the ones in Cambodia aren't taking fucking some kind of testosterone supplement.
Right.
The ones in Cambodia are just
and furthermore, let's say your wife gets mouths off and shit, and she calls the cops in Cambodia. The Cambodian cop, because he's a man, is gonna like, fuck this stupid bitch. She has no idea what she's talking about. But the cops in America, well, you're getting gunned down.
done.
You're done.
Gunned down.
Actually, and I'm a living example of that. I lived in Southeast Asia for 13 years, and after 13 years, I said, "Fuck this shit. Here's my kid. I'm taking him back to Canada. If you don't like it, go fuck yourself." And you know what immigration in Bali said to me when I told them that? They're like, "Good for you, man.
Okay.
Good for you."
Next. That's good. Yeah.
No, next is what?
No. I was just saying, like, that's what they said. Like, good for you. Next.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't give a fuck. But if that happened here, in Canada,
oh my god, dude!
If I went through the same shit,
or in the States too, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. Or in many Western countries, Australia, same.
Yeah.
If I as a man and I said, "Okay, I'm done. Fuck you. Here's my kid. I'm out of here," they would have been like, "Sorry, mate."
What? Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
Fucking behind bars.
You got no rights. You're a man. You have no rights. None.
Sorry, man. And it's like, but you're a man too. And they're like, yeah.
They're like, yeah, well, it doesn't apply to me for now.
Yeah.
Yourself.
Then apply for me to now, mate.
Doesn't apply to me, mate.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. 100 years ago in Australia, the cops got paid for every Aborigines person they killed. Like I thought it was like 25 cents or some shit.
And now they're the biggest cucks on the planet. Australian men, they are the biggest cucks on the fucking planet, man. It's
really, eh?
Oh God, don't tell them that. They'll go berserk on you.
Fucking horrible, man. No, seriously, they are the worst. They are the worst.
Probably the young generation. The old generation seems to be misogynist. Like, oh my, they just beat their fucking women to death and shit.
Oh yeah, man.
Not the Australian guys that are on the internet, man. They're
they are. The younger Australians seem completely jaded and lost. I mean, they are social justice warrior losers.
They're so sad, man. They're so sad. Like I haven't seen look, I've been back in Canada. I see some of my friends. I go, yeah, you guys are pretty cuckish, but I've never seen a cuck like I've seen as these Australian.
I thought British men were. I had a conversation with a British guy, and so we were talking about nationalism or something to the effect, drinking in a bar, and he goes, "Well, what's so great about England?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, England, Magna Carta. I mean, you guys had the sunset, the sunset never sets on the British Empire, and we're just talking about general nationalism, about the Union Jack and all that other type of good shit." And he goes, well, what's so great about that? I didn't do any of those type of things. And more or less what he was saying was that I have no nation. I have no lineage. It doesn't really make a difference to me if England goes in the shitter or not.
Was he black?
No, he was white.
So white. Well, I just said that because like the majority of fucking British are not white anymore.
Well, but his attitude is a prime example of that.
Yeah.
He's
You
living.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's pretty sad, man.
That's
It's
fucked
really
up.
sad.
Yeah.
It's really fucking sad.
And you can see that's the mindset of a European male.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
But it's
sure.
becoming a mindset of the Australian male,
Yeah.
and it's becoming a mindset of the Canadian male,
And
and it pisses me off.
Does piss me off too. Yeah.
Like when I told you about what Trudeau said, how can you not just say, what the fuck?
Yeah, right.
Where do I live?
It's Castro's son or not. How do you not say what the fuck, right?
Yeah, when Castro's son says the very concept of a nation founded by European settlers is offensive to me. Old stock white
Doesn't matter.
Old stock white Canadians are an unpleasant relic, and quite frankly, replaceable. And I will replace them all.
Doesn't matter whose son you are.
Like that,
You say that shit. That's fucked up, man. That's fucked up shit, man.
Look,
basically, that's like saying, like, well, fuck white people, kill them all.
Yeah, that's like being a black immigrant, okay, and going into a shitty bar downtown where we live. We're in Lethbridge. You're some black immigrant. You go into a shitty bar downtown and you go, "Fuck white people." Do you think people are gonna like you? Like really?
No,
you're
gonna get kicked out.
No, they're not gonna just kick you. They're gonna beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Whether you're black or white or whatever, they're gonna beat the fucking shit.
Red or yellow or fucking.
I don't give a fuck.
Oh.
And this is the prime minister of our country. The prime minister of our country is a black immigrant walking into a white bar in the smallest town in Canada, the smallest white town in Canada, and going.
I don't think there is a bar in the smallest town in Canada. Yeah,
well, this is the example. Our prime minister walks into the smallest town in Canada, painted in black. His face is painted in black, and he goes, "I hate all white people. They should all die. Fuck Canada." Like, really? You're gonna live? Like, your lifespan is done.
Like,
I don't think you're gonna walk out of.
Yeah.
I don't think you're gonna walk out of here alive. But that's what our prime minister said. He said it, quoted.
Yeah, again, I don't understand how he got elected. That's really just with the state of the world's in. I did not expect that guy to get elected.
No.
In fact, I think.
What choice do we have? It was either him or fucking.
Did you vote for him?
I think that was it. No, I didn't vote for Trudeau. Fuck that.
Because I wasn't here. And if you
I voted for like the Independent Party or some shit like that.
If you voted for him, I was going to come into the next room and punch you in the fucking face. That's an absolute cunt.
No, I didn't vote for fucking false dough. Fuck that.
Yeah. But it's funny that so they in a lot of ways when Obama got elected, I think the last election for Obama versus Mitt Romney is that the Republicans threw the election, and I thought that became very obvious to me that the Republicans and the Democrats were working together because they wheeled out Mitt Romney, which no one really wanted to represent the Republican side.
Well, isn't all the elections rigged anyway? Isn't that what everybody's saying these days?
Well, again, with Trump, it's hard to. It's still really hard to tell. I still
You know what I
don't
mean?
think Trump. I still don't think Trump was picked beforehand. I do think Trump's administration and what he's supposed to be doing has been hijacked, though, at this point.
Well, you know, I mean, like everything we've been talking about, like Obama bringing the fucking El Salvadorians in and all this shit. Like, wouldn't you think the elections would just be just as fucking planned out? You know what I mean?
But again, the media, the way the media has been acting towards Trump, Trump being not a politician, and also you see the kind of the chaos within his administration lets me know that there's a lot more going on. There seems to be somewhat of a civil war taking place within the government that high up. That's what I've noticed.
Not just the government, but the people. I think.
Well, yeah, of course, as above as below, right? Like, you know, whatever happens up there is gonna happen fucking down there too. You know,
as above is below.
so below.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
you know, that's an old fucking biblical fucking saying. You know what I mean?
yeah.
They're all about that shit.
Well,
they're all about that fucking crazy ass
more than we realize.
Symbolic shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Fuck. They're all fucked up, man.
So let's change a topic before we wrap up the night. My let's go back to some MGTOW related topics. So my eldest female cousin is getting a divorce. Yay! Yay!
Is
why?
Is it a guy or
it's a girl? It's a girl.
Girl.
The girl. Okay.
Yeah.
She's almost 40 and she has 2 young daughters under the age of 10.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
2 daughters.
2 daughters under the age of 10, and you know she's just not happy.
Yeah. She's like,
She's just not happy. Right.
I did my time.
I did my time. Right.
I did my 10 years. I did my
time.
No one is telling her that this is a bad idea and stuff.
No, of course. They're like, you go, girl. You go.
You go, girl. Well, you know what?
That man.
Hey, let Nick talk. Let's go, Nick.
No. It's fine. She's completely wrong. Everyone knows that she's wrong, and no one is willing to tell her that she's wrong.
Are you telling her?
No, I'm not. She doesn't. She won't. She doesn't want to talk to anybody about it. And
I'll tell
the
her.
other,
give me your number. I'll fucking tell her.
Then I had dinner. I had dinner with my other cousin, and I was asking her about she plans on she wants to get married, and I asked her, when do you plan on having children and getting married and all this stuff. She said 30, and I very kindly tried explaining to her. I go, 30 is old.
Yes.
Dude, she went ballistic on me.
What? No way, man.
Ballistic.
Really?
I go, when do you plan on getting married and all this? She said 30. And I'm like, yeah, honey, I don't think the guy's going to really stick around.
How old is she now? How old is she now?
26.
Oh, my God. Holy. Time's done. The countdown has happened, babe. That's what you got to say.
Yeah, the count. And again, and no one tells these young women the ramifications that 30's fucking old. They still think 30's the new 20, when that's not true at all.
No, it's not
30's
true.
30.
Feminists told them that, but it's absolutely bullshit.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, why don't people just, like, fucking realize that, like, if you're gonna get married and have kids, no matter what age you are, you're signing up for a fucking package. You know what I mean? It's like you signed. It's like it's like an internet service or something. You know, like you sign up, you get the package, done. You know what I mean? Like fucking, and then all of a sudden they get all fucked up, and then people divorce, and it's like you signed up for that shit, man. Like, come on.
I'll sign up for a hot little fucking 21-year-old who can make chicken parm.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. So why do you sign up for that if that's not actually what you really want? That's what You know what I mean? Like,
why do women do that? Is that what you're saying? Why do
well,
women?
why do not just women, but people, like guys and fucking women, like they get married and they're like, oh, I'm in love, and like we're gonna get married and have kids, and then it's like, and then all of a sudden shit like gets complicated and they get divorced and it's all this drama, right? But it's like you signed up for that, like.
But Giannis, you're a man.
You know, or a woman. It's like you signed up for that, man. Like that's what you wanted to do. That's what you fucking signed up for. Deal with it.
Right.
Like,
so now, like for example, because of getting a divorce, I'm out of this. But you have two young little girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And it's like exactly like you fucking like that's the package. Like, what did you expect? What did you expect it to be? All fucking lollipops and fucking rainbows?
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
Like,
guys. You have to understand that they don't expect it to be lollipops and rainbows, and that's why they get a divorce, because they expect it to be a 5. And I said this to Nick before we started this conversation. Women expect it to be a 5 to 7 year investment, and that's it. They don't expect it to be anything more than that. Regardless of how many kids they have, that's what they expect. That's what women go into.
Is that like a subconscious thing, or like do they already have that planned in their mind?
That's usually the time they get tired. That's
That's
usually
when
when they get tired.
So it's natural. It's a natural thing.
It's not just natural. It's not just natural. It is natural, but it's not
at
just
this point in this time and space kind of thing.
Well, it's natural and it's encouraged.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
I mean, women are encouraged to be independent. Like,
right.
Why stay with a man? You're an independent feminist woman.
But can't you be independent and have a husband?
No,
I don't get it.
Not if you're a feminist in the modern world. Not at all. No, you can't. Can't happen. And that's why we are where we are today.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Because, and I'll tell you why we are where we are today is because women are the most privileged and the most they are the most privileged species on the planet in the existence of the human race today. In the Western world, women are the most privileged and advanced species ever to exist on the planet today.
White women, more.
Well,
that's we cannot extend this to black women. Because black women actually, in my opinion, are the most looked down upon.
Nah, fuck. Black women have the same privilege. They have the same fucking privilege, man. And guess who's the problem in their community? The men. This isn't about race. This is about gender. This is about men and women. That's what it is. There's no race involved in this. This is men versus women.
So yeah, okay. So what? Women are the most advanced.
They're most advanced, privileged species on the planet today.
Okay, so what? Big fucking deal. Like
they'll tell you, go fuck yourself. I had 2-3 good years with you. Now you're done. And guess what? We had kids. I don't care, because guess what? The state is gonna pay for me. I'm gonna exist beyond.
So now it's not just about gender, it's about fucking the state and all this bullshit.
But besides the state, it's only about gender. Well, the state exists, but it's biology. It's biology.
If the state wasn't around,
what's the biggest difference between you and a black man?
What's the problem here? What's the problem? The gender or the state?
Hold on. What's the biggest difference between you and a black man? Besides your penis size, what's the biggest difference?
Fucking nothing, man.
Nothing. But what's
sometimes
the biggest difference?
Sometimes
hold on. What's the biggest difference between you and a woman? Oh, there's a lot of difference.
Well, yeah.
How the difference comes in. The only difference that separates humanity and humanity's evolution is the difference between men and women. Not black men and white men.
No, of course not.
Asian men and black men. No, it's men and women. That's the only differentiation between the evolution of the species.
Okay, so what are you getting at?
That's the sexes. That's it. That's it. There's no racism. Doesn't exist. There's huge differences between the genders, the sexes, men and women. They have roles. They have physiological differences that are measured and repeated and observed in science. Okay?
So like,
Huge differences.
so like, you know, like what do you like? Are you talking like in like a biological survival kind of thing, or like, you know, the
Well,
bigger the boobs?
survival is
and
the only thing. Survival is the only thing.
Right.
But
So the
between
hotter
men
the
and women,
chick and the bigger the boobs and the better they can cook, then the chances are, the better chances are they're gonna find a good guy who's gonna keep them around. You know what I
Right,
mean?
but then
and
then
who's the
again,
guy?
the thing is, in 5 or 7 years, now she wants to leave and take all your shit.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
that's the
different
difference.
today.
Nowadays, not
Yeah.
back then.
You got it?
Yeah.
We're not
Yeah, I get
living.
it.
Okay. So the instinct is still there.
Right.
Culture is changed.
I
Guess
get
what?
it. I get it.
Guess what? You are nothing. You have nothing to bring to the table as a man. In fact, in today's society, you are 90% of workplace deaths. You are 70% of suicides if you're a man. You are basically
Is this North America? Are you
this is
talking?
worldwide statistics. Worldwide statistics.
Okay.
Worldwide.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, look it up, man.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
giving.
Yeah.
I'm
I
giving.
believe you. No, I believe you. Yeah. Keep going.
You can do it. As a man, you have 60% chance of being committed to jail and do more time in prison for the same crime as a woman. In other words, women don't do the same time in prison for the same crime as men do. They
Mhm.
never have, and they never will. Where does that come from?
See, there it is again.
Okay.
It's not about the fucking.
Okay, when the ship goes down, when a
Yeah.
ship sinks,
Right.
it's men dead. It's women and children first.
Unless you're
That's
on an Argentinian submarine and you're the first female officer.
Absolutely.
What's that?
Unless you are a woman put in charge of an actual ship, and then the ship goes down. And
Oh, I see what you're
everybody.
saying. Yeah.
You
Okay,
understand?
well, yeah, but there again, there comes the intervention of the state, right? Of the cultural change. It's not just fucking gender. It's like it's the way the world's fucking changed and not naturally changed. It's been manipulated and fucking
Well, manipulated it. The state manipulated it. We
no, man.
look,
The
we
state
don't.
did
Yeah,
exactly.
but we didn't need the state.
The
We don't.
Freemasons, the fucking
Look,
Illuminati, all those guys fucking did all that.
we don't need.
They changed.
We don't need the
What?
state.
Mio.
Okay,
Sorry.
let me finish. We don't need the state to tell us that women and children go first.
Yeah.
All right.
What just happened?
I don't know. He's going off. He's done.
Well, I was thinking about it today. I was reflecting on just I saw at a very young age with women in middle school and high school, and just how I was treated by fellow female classmates. That they were the complete opposite of what I was taught growing up. That women will love you for who you are. That was a blatant lie. So lie.
Really?
Yeah, of course.
You were taught that.
Yeah, well, that's how most American males have been
That's
taught.
Oh, now you're back.
That sounds like utopia.
Right, exactly. And again,
Like hell.
That sounds like. Yeah, well, yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
yep,
Okay,
yes, it is.
you just came back,
So
and I just want to say this. Look, women and children first goes beyond modern psychology. It is hell bent and stuck in not just the psychology of who we are as a species, but it's in our DNA.
Mm-hmm. I knew that.
Women and children first.
Yeah.
Don't ever pretend that men somehow have a privilege.
I never pretended that.
Yeah.
Not one bit. But yeah, no, it's true, and it does kind of go back to the grassroots of everything. But I think yeah, these days it's definitely
It's what?
become, well, like what you're saying, like it's become skewed, and frankly, women have sort of taken advantage. The whole, not just women, but like the whole feminist movement has encouraged women all over the world to be these people that they're not.
They're little savages. They're undomesticated little savages. Men have been reared.
Yeah.
This is what's quite comical, is how men have been domesticated, the women have been undomesticated. And what women don't seem to realize, especially in North America, is if Western women are being encouraged to go after a man's resources, and men who have been domesticated saying, don't, make sure you stay away from women that are going after your resources. This is the state we're in today, where there's a complete disconnect. Like, guys know, stay away from the gold digger. But when all the majority of women are in fact becoming gold diggers, men that actually do have resources and money are hiding everything they got.
You're absolutely right, man. Like,
so it's quite comical. Again, the wealthiest guys that I know wear sweatpants and drive beat up cars.
Yeah.
They don't drive BMWs and wear Rolex watches. Right? And the last thing he will not, and a guy with money is not going to tip his hand to let you know what he's got in his savings account.
Yeah. Why would you?
Because they're smart, man.
Right. They got that money for a reason.
Yeah.
And look, this is basically what we're doing is basically revealing the nature of women, not just regardless of our own instance, but regardless of their nature. Women don't give a fuck about you as a human being. They don't care what you be, they care what you do. And this is why in MGTOW we understand that men are not human beings, they are human doings. And they always have been.
Human doers.
They're human doers, and that's who they are. They're not human beings, because you're not judged as what you are. You're judged based on what you can do. And this goes beyond the female concept of how much money you have. Society says your life is worth the ability to vote for the country you live in as a man. And therefore, in order to have a say to any capacity in the society you live in, you must sacrifice, not sacrifice, but be willing to sacrifice your life for that same society. That is, in order to vote, you must be willing to die. Women have never, ever, ever had that same consequence. And it's not a part of their cycle.
Well, guess what? Because on that rule on conscription, women now have that right to die also. So
It'll never happen, man.
I know it won't.
It will never.
There'll be no war. There'll be no war with North Korea.
No. And these women will never have to die. You know what? I would love. Do you want to see peace in the world? Do you want to see peace on Earth? This is how you achieve peace on Earth. You say, and you commit to law, say being Donald Trump, you commit to law. No human being within the country of the United States as a United States citizen has the right to vote unless they commit to conscription. Peace on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Right? No, seriously, peace on Earth. No woman would have the right to vote. And then you would see peace on Earth. Yes, you would. It would be an incredible thing. I would love to see women just fall to their knees and cry like, I can't vote because I don't want to be conscripted. And the women that do want to be conscripted, they'd be like, yes, I'll vote. And they would become such a minority within the voting party of this two-party democracy in the United States. And we would see real change. Real change. It would happen.
Yep. So yeah, well, it's probably not gonna happen though. Look, bottom line is we're in trouble. That's all. That's all. You know. And again, and you know what? It's funny because my cousin's getting the divorce, and I think what's going to be happening now, it's become like a snowball effect as far as divorce goes, and what I think you're going to see now is even more rapid divorce. So whatever the ratio is, whatever the percentage is of divorce, I'm going to say it's going to go up between 10 to 20% in the next 5 to 10 years.
So you're saying that in the next 25 years, the divorce rate will be
It's going to be way
75,
higher.
75%.
Yeah, it's going to be way higher. And what's going to happen, I sent you this article, that what's going to happen is these people that are non-religious, agnostic, spiritual, atheist, they are going to die off.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And what will be left is the ultra-religious, and because the ultra-religious still procreate and have children.
Yeah, they still have kids.
Right.
That's all they want. I mean, the only people that are reproducing in the West are Muslims. And it's sad that the Christians can't keep up, and they should. But, they're not going to. And the only people that are fucking and having kids are the Muslims. And their children will be Muslims. And they'll probably be brown, too. So,
Yep.
So
not doubting it.
Yeah. So, Americans and Canadians, well, the Canadians are dead. The Swedish are dead. I don't even know where to put them anymore, but your run is done and it's your own fault. Start fucking and reproducing, because the people you voted to be in charge, they don't give a fuck about you. Actually, they want you to die, just like Star Wars.
Right, like Star Wars.
Just like the people, just like Disney that took over Star Wars, they don't give a fuck about what made it, what made Star Wars. They don't care. They want you to die. That's it. They want you to die. They want you to not exist anymore. They're not even trying to appeal to your nostalgia.
Right, and that's what makes it so funny with people that want to vote Democrat or think socialism is going to work. Like, can't you just? They can't see. They can't see. Like, it's beyond me, this mindset that they have. It's really bizarre. Like you're talking about governments that bomb and kill people and put sanctions and kill children, and you think they're gonna? Then you think it's Santa Claus. No. I was talking to a Bernie Sanders supporter yesterday. I go, "Are you delusional? What's the matter with you?" You firstly, burning dictator in Africa, it's going to be laughable. That's number one. And two, the government is not Santa Claus.
No, not even close. And you are going to lose in the end. You're just going to accept the lies of another tyrant. There's nothing honest about anything that the politicians say in North American media. There's nothing honest about it. I don't know why people try to pretend there is, because there's nothing.
Yeah, again, they think that the government somehow will change its attitude. It's never going to happen. It's not going to happen.
No, it's dishonest. It's disloyal. It's disloyal to the people that actually put it in power, and they don't give a fuck about you. I mean, I gave you that quote of Justin Trudeau. It's like, wow, really? I see. I'm a critic of Star Wars, and I watch and I listen to what they say, and the lesson I learned from it is the people that create this content, that have the power to create this content, they don't give a fuck about where the origins of what gave them that power. They don't care. They don't care about where it came from or the people that spent money to make it a multi-billion-dollar industry. They don't give a fuck about it.
Right.
They don't care. It's done. And they're and in fact, they're so arrogant that they are actually saying, go fuck yourself. You're going to die and we're going to take over what you created. That's
right.
What they think, man.
Yes. And on a further note, with that being said, is that, you know, when a planning board gets together and they want public input, when do they decide to have this public input for the planning board? Well, we're going to do it at 7 o'clock on a Wednesday morning.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously everyone's at work and no one shows up. And they're,
Yeah.
oh, well, no one's here. Oh, dismissed. We're going to do what we want. And then they push through it. And then the public is like, wait a second, how did this get through? Well, the planning board was 7 a.m. on a Wednesday.
Yeah, well, it happened. You know, we pushed
It happened. Where were you? Why?
And not just that. It has to do with HR. It's like, well, all these people that are in our company now were hired through HR. Why do you have a problem with all these feminist cunts and their agenda? HR hired them. They must deserve the position they have. This is exactly how it functions. And then they kill it. They don't pretend like they're trying to be a part of it. It's like a parasite. Like a parasite doesn't latch on to its host organism to I don't know, encourage it to be better.
Well, you know, the other thing is that they're going to keep going, right? So I'm going to suggest that how far it can go is that they may have like an HR department that makes sure that you hire ugly people and fat people and make sure you're not discriminating against ugly and fat people.
No, the
right?
parasite. Yeah, but the parasite.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can see what you say, but the parasite can only exist as long as its host can survive, and its host is
people.
Yeah, it's 3 generations of consumers.
Mm-hmm.
That's the host. 3 generations of consumers, and you think you
more than that?
Well, and you think you can come in and go, we have HR, and now everybody that wants to get hired into Disney has to be a fucking fat Asian woman, and the only
transgender
lesbian woman, and the
half black.
Yeah, and the only reason they're there is because we say so, and that's gonna support the entire industry that we're trying to leech off of. I mean,
there you go again. There's another fucking example of here's the problem. Let's create the solution.
Have an action
and
for
then
it.
have an action for it. There's another fucking example, man.
Yeah. Well, they're gonna kill it, and they want to kill it. And I'm sick of people trying to pretend like, oh well, you know, it's just the politics. You know, the politics will go away. No,
people are thinking that's the thing. Politicians and all the fucking politics around the world are telling people like, people want to be men want to be women, and women want to be men, and gay.
And we want to see it in Star Wars.
So, yeah, and everybody. So let's like fucking let's put it on Star Wars, and let's hire these people. And
but it doesn't work.
That's how the world's evolving. But that's bullshit. The world's not evolving that way. They're creating that.
But financially, which makes them survive, it's not working. Like Star Wars is failing financially.
Well, that's fucking karma biting them right in the ass.
Of course it is, because it doesn't work on that level. But they're trying, but it's failing. It's financially within. Again, we circle completely back completely back to what I was originally talking about with capitalist free market. They have to function in in North America. They have to function in a capitalist free market, and guess what? They're failing. They're dropping. Like, people don't like it. Everybody's complaining. Nobody likes it
because it's not the way
they're not
work.
they're not telling
You know what I mean?
stories. Yeah, they're not telling stories. They're telling a political agenda.
Yeah.
Marvel
Which
Comics.
naturally is what's gonna happen because it's fake. It's fake, man.
They're fake. They're fake, and they're losing. But
of course, fake loses. You know, the truth comes out in the end.
yeah,
not in the Soviet Union.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's what they're pushing for. They're pushing for the Soviet Union.
Yes.
They're pushing for the Soviet Union. That's what they want. But it's failing. Like Marvel Comics as an industry completely failed. It fell apart. They canceled 5, 6, 7, 8 titles because of communist propaganda, feminist propaganda.
Yeah.
They canceled like 8 titles. Done. Like just overnight. Like, okay, we're done. You know why? Because they're not selling in a capitalist market.
Oh, of course, because people are like sick of the bullshit.
They don't want to buy it.
Yeah, man.
They're like, okay, we can't continue to sell these comics. We want to push our agenda, and these son of a bitches.
Now
they're ruining cool fucking ass comic books.
Yeah, cool.
And Star Wars, and they ruined Star Wars.
They ruined Star
Wars. And Ghostbusters. You just keep going.
They ruin everything, man. And now people are going to be like, I don't even fucking like that shit anymore.
Okay. You know? Okay. Now, this is where I want to inject my reason why this is happening. Okay? They're not trying to ruin it so that us fanboys get pissed off. They're trying to ruin it to destroy it. They don't have there's no objective for it to make money at any point. Okay? And again, this is where we get conspiratorial, because it's not about money anymore.
Right. This is about power. This is about control.
Yes. They don't give a shit if Star Wars is ruined and it destroys their income of toy sales. They don't give a fuck. If you look at some of the videos of the people that I've been listening to, there's videos upon videos of how there are toys upon toys on shelves about The Last Jedi that's not selling. Do you think they care that they're not making money off of toy sales? They don't care. They're destroying an idea. That's their point. They're destroying a
class. The same thing with the NFL. We discussed that also.
Yes.
Why do they want to destroy it? Like, sure, for power and control, but for what? Like, what? Because it's creative. Like,
yes, absolutely.
They want to destroy art. You can see with architecture and music and movies and stuff that it's much. There's a lot more. There's a lot more to it.
Done.
Anything creative.
Anything that has to be creative, and they don't care if they lose money. They don't care. They want
because they control money.
Yes.
So why would they care? It's going to go into another pocket. One way or the other. The money's going to go in from one pocket to the other.
All they want is a political ideology to replace any kind of creative art form. And that's
it's why I think Harvey Weinstein was a scapegoat to protect the rest of Hollywood elites. That there's a lot more going on behind the scenes. Like, we wheeled out the bad man. Here he is. Nothing to see here, folks. It's over.
Go away. We finished it. Look, clap your hands together.
Right, and they probably made a deal with Weinstein saying, "Hey, look, you're going to be the scapegoat for the rest of us.
Yes.
You know, look, you made your money. You served your time. You've had a good life. Don't worry, we're going to protect you in the long run. You're going to have to go ahead and take one for the team."
What did he do? What did Weinstein do?
He was like he raped every woman in Hollywood, man.
Oh yeah, one of those stories. Yeah. There's a few of those.
But now mind you, these women in Hollywood, they signed up for this. They knew what they were doing. You wanted this role. And the same thing with the sex tapes. Well, you made a sex tape, so, and you got someone found it. Why'd you make the sex tape in the first place if you didn't want it to be found?
Yeah, absolutely.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a scandal. Someone stole my sex tape. Well, why'd you make the sex tape?
Yeah. You kidding me? Like,
Right.
yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Google
Mhm.
stole that the fucking minute you made that. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Okay, hold on. I'll be right back.
Well, there you go again. There's another example. Problem,
Action
Let's create-
solution.
action, solution. That's how those guys roll, man. That's how those fuckers roll, man. And they feel good. They feel like, you know what I mean? They feel empowered by that.
Well,
It's like,
the big problem is that back hundreds of years ago, not even 50, 60 years ago, you were able to spot the enemy. But now the enemy, let's say Visa, let's say you're in credit card debt, okay,
right.
and you can't get, okay, whatever the reason might be why you're in debt, okay. It doesn't necessarily have to be your discretionary way of spending money. It doesn't have to necessarily be that you spent money on things that you don't need. Let's just say that it was because you have health insurance, health problems. You need to use your credit card for your health problems. You have mortgage issues. You have tickets for getting tickets for driving your car or whatever it might be.
Speeding, parking, whatever. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So how are you going to eradicate this debt that you've accumulated, right? Well, you can't. The Visa is now a computer screen. You can't go after Visa, right? And again, 500-600 years ago, or even 50, 60 years ago, you were able to find the person that is withholding your debt and putting you into the slave system.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Right. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Nowadays, it's like a computer screen.
Right. It's a computer screen. You
What are you
can't. You're
gonna
not
do?
actually.
You're
You're not
gonna
actually
yell
able to
at
tell.
you're gonna yell at your computer screen, be like, "Yo, man, can you help me out?" It's not gonna do
Right.
it.
Furthermore, now with immigration policies, now you're blending the whole world together, and you're not able to identify or single out who the enemy actually is. A group of people, let's say. What is terrorism? What is it? It's not a state. It's not an organization.
It's your neighbor. It's your neighbor.
It's your
Tourism.
neighbor. Right.
No, it's your
Tourism.
fucking neighbor, Ben.
Right. So you're able to blend everybody together, and it becomes much more difficult to identify the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
How do you tell a tourist from a terrorist? You know,
It's possible.
Well, not only that, but if you have so many different ethnic groups within one area, how are you going to tell? What are you going to be able to tell?
Yeah.
Well, another thing to think about is if put yourself in the position of a foreigner in another country, right? Who's the terrorist there? I mean, is it someone where you come from? If you're from America and you happen to be an expatriate in Iran or Saudi Arabia or part of the peninsula, who is the terrorist to you? Is he the guy that you know at the party? Or is he the American that might blow you up? I mean, it's too hard to know. When you put it into that.
Well, it's like, who's the terrorist? Like, it's the guy who fucking blows you up. Doesn't matter what color they are.
Yeah, but you don't even know you don't even know who's going to blow you up.
Right.
Who's going to blow you up? And that's the concept of terrorism is fear, right?
Yeah.
And for Americans, terrorism is what? It's a brown guy,
right?
Yeah.
It's the brown guy that kind of has
not black.
No, he's not black. He's brown, and he kind of maybe he wears like something on his head that looks different. That's terror, right? That's
an image.
True.
It's an image thing now.
But it's absolutely true. I mean, that's what
so
it is.
fucked up, man. That's fucked up,
right? But if you talk to cucked out liberals, they'll
Cucked
say,
out false dough.
yeah, false dough, not true dough, false dough.
False dough.
You'll if you go along his lines, the only terrorists are white people who founded this country.
Yeah, right.
They're the most horrible people you could ever imagine. They
Like
founded
relics.
this country. Yeah, they're relics.
Like what relic? What is the definition of a relic? No, like a relic is worse than a terrorist, isn't it?
It's an old, washed out piece of history that nobody gives a shit about.
Like a relic is like, you know what I mean? That's like worse than a terrorist.
Nobody cares about a relic.
Anyway, so yeah, that's what he calls white people as relics. Like,
Yeah, he calls white people relics. Like, what the fuck?
Does he really?
Yeah, that's what he did. He
That's
called,
what he called white
So-
people relics.
So, and with that being, what you just said, Canada and for America, for that matter, deserves everything they got fucking coming to them.
yeah.
That's what you elected.
Let me
Yeah.
repeat it.
America learned its lesson with Obama, never to have that again. 'Cause we
Yeah.
got a taste of it under
Well,
Obama.
with Bush. What about Bush? Bush was pretty bad, wasn't he?
I don't. There was the
Wasn't
neocon
as bad as
aspect.
fucking.
Really?
The neocon aspect of Bush was definitely the problem. And again, that wasn't Bush.
Bush-
That was Dick Cheney.
Bush was like
Right.
a kind of like a dim light in the dark. Obama was like a laser beam into your eyeball.
What?
You know,
That
Yeah.
guy was. Oh, fucking horrible.
Obama is, I would say, the second worst U.S. president behind Abraham Lincoln.
Oh yeah, fucking horrible.
Abe was bad?
Oh yeah.
A civil war happened underneath him being president. He's the worst fucking president ever.
Wow.
You don't even know. You don't even know the half of Abe, and I'll go
Right.
into
Yeah,
later.
Abe is a fucking nightmare. And
All
we
the-
glorify him. We
Yeah,
glorify him.
everybody
Of course
teaches.
they do. Of course,
Right,
they
but a half a million Americans died while he was fucking president. Everyone fucking
Really?
forgets that shit.
Damn. Fucking
Well,
Christ,
okay,
man.
Abe. I would say this: Abe is the same as our current prime minister,
Really, eh?
Trudeau, the son of a Cuban dictator. By the
Abe
way,
kind of looked like fucking Castro too, didn't
this
he?
is what he says. Remember, old stock white Canadians are an unpleasant relic.
Oh my god. Relic.
Old stock white Canadians are an unpleasant relic.
Come
Sounds
on,
like
man. Is there a video of him saying that?
I just
That's-
have the quote. But it's just.
Are you sure that wasn't Castro who said
No,
that?
it's just Justin Trudeau when asked to
Justin
comment
Castro.
on his open border immigration strategy. Like, who the fuck says that shit, man?
Yeah, that's fucked up, man.
Like,
I love it.
this man is in charge of our country.
Well, fucking.
And I say to people, hey, he's Castro's son. And they're like, oh, yo, fuck yourself. No, he's not. And then he says this, and I'm like, hey, guess what? He's Castro's son.
He's Castro.
Like, come on, guys.
So do you think he knows that? He obviously knows that.
Of course he knows that.
He knows it.
But it's not, no, man. These people don't live in a fantasy.
No.
They know
Like-
exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
They know who they are. They know exactly what they say. They
Yeah.
know who they are in charge of. In fact,
Right.
They don't care.
They know who's in charge of them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They don't fucking care, man.
No, they don't.
All right,
All right.
guys. I think I'm gonna
Yep.
call it a night.
Yeah, me too, man.
It's been
Well,
a
hey,
pleasure. That was fun.
That was really fun, Nick. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you're gonna come back, or you're gonna, maybe you can do this from wherever it is you live.
Oh yeah, for sure. I can do. I think I got an account set up now, so I can do
Very
it.
cool. Maybe you can
Yeah.
change that picture, and
Oh, I'll change the picture for sure. Yeah, it doesn't look
some little Asian boy. A little bit creepy.
Yeah, I can see that. I'll change it to something cool. That's all good.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
All
hey,
right.
man, peace out on the East Coast, man. That's awesome. You're way out there.
Yeah, I gotta, dude. It's what time is it? It is almost 3 a.m. So
Yeah. Is it cold as fuck or what?
yeah, it is. It's 15 degrees below right now,
Like
Celsius.
Fahrenheit, Celsius. Okay.
Celsius. Yeah.
Okay. Oh shit, that's nothing, man.
Yeah, I know. It's snowing now. It's snowing.
Oh yeah, right on. Is it
Yeah.
the big flake? Is it the big flaky snowflakes or is it like the powdery dry shit?
It's powdery and dry.
Oh yeah.
It's bitch snow compared to what you got.
Nah, man, we got
It's cuck snow.
some snow.
Yeah, you where you
Yeah.
live, you step outside, your eyeballs are freezing. You know.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Right on, buddy.
Fucking cold.
Cool, buddy. All right, well, have a good night, eh?
Yeah. Take care. All right.
Yeah, you too.
All right.
Man. Nice meeting
Good
you, man.
night.
Good night.
Peace.
See you guys
Happy
later.
New Year's.
Good night. Yeah. Thank you. Happy New Year, everybody. Whoop,
All
whoop.
right. Okay, peace.